You
United
know,
fans, we don't complain for too long. You get every
yeah.
football fan has to complain for a small window. Arsenal fans are the one that keep wailing for years. You know,
Come on, man.
um, my problem is you guys do the same thing every year.
Hmm.
You do the same thing every year. You know, you don't you don't hold your breath. You don't wait to the finish line.
You know,
That's what
All right,
happens when
you
but
know how
if it's
when you
not
things.
start
us,
running
if it's not
you
us
start
right
running too
now,
early.
guys,
You start running
if
too
it's not
early.
Arsenal right now, the Premier League is the Bundesliga.
It's
You
not,
know,
man. You guys don't
come
do
on,
anything, man.
come
No,
on
no,
now.
Don't worry
but
about it.
Stan. You see, this is another thing. Stan, this is another thing. Arsenal fans, you people need to check yourselves. Before
Come
Arsenal,
on.
before Arsenal started doing well, it was always like this. At some point, it was Liverpool. If it wasn't Liverpool,
Hmm.
the Premier League would have been Bundesliga. At some point, it was United. At some point, it was Chelsea. It would always be like that. So now,
Hmm.
Arsenal fans are saying you're making it seem like we're doing something that nobody has done. We're the ones carrying Premier League on our backs. Come on, come
No,
on.
it's for me personally, it's just enjoying watching your team again. You know, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, I
You know,
can understand that.
it's been 10 years and yeah, winning, of course. You know, everyone wants to win, but what am I gonna win here in Valencia, Spain? You know, nothing. So, you know, for me, it's those moments. You know, last minute goals. You know, that's it. You know, at the end of the day, I just like to see a team compete because as a lot of Arsenal fan, I was disillusioned for many years. Like I didn't want to watch Arsenal because it was like, what am I gonna watch again? You know, we're gonna lose again. No style of play. Now at least you know, okay, maybe we won't win the league, but we are the favorites in most games. You know, and I think that's the biggest flattery that United for the second season running, they come to the Emirates and they have to have a strategy in order to get something out of the Emirates. You know, it's not like they can't play with us. Let's be honest. They can't play with Arsenal like toe to toe because they're gonna get destroyed. And
That's wrong, man.
that's the positive, you know.
No, that's the Arsenal perspective, and you know what I've come to realize is that Arsenal
I
fans
knew
are
UB
thinking
was not going to let it go. I knew.
no.
Okay, so you're
You know,
telling me
for me,
United with this squad can go toe to toe with Arsenal.
listen. For me, I analyze in the 2 percentile, right?
Okay.
So the rest of you in the 98%, I see from a different perspective, right? So let me bring you some insights, right? Let me give some clarity to this conversation, right? You know, Arsenal fans have a bubble. You have a world view, which you see everything through. You understand? And it was the same bubble. I'll give you an example that Liverpool were in that Champions League final against Real Madrid. They can't play toe-to-toe with us. They can't go toe-to-toe with us. We'll destroy them. You get who ends up winning Champions League? Real Madrid. They are not worried about your the way you see it. The way you see it, has nothing to do with us. You get, so you can say, oh, you can, if whatever it takes to make you feel good, that's fine with me, right? You can say, oh, United can play two with you. That's not the aim of competitive football.
No,
You
but
get
you be
the aim of competitive. Hold on.
realistically.
The aim of competitive sports is to win, right? So when Liverpool went to I was in Istanbul, I think a couple of years ago, and lost Champions League, and started crying foul. Real Madrid fans were partying in the streets. Do you understand? Because all through the game, all through the previews, all through the highlights, everything, it was, oh, Liverpool will destroy Real Madrid. You understand? So clubs that are used to winning things think in a different way. You get clubs that have not won in a long time get excited. The clubs that won and always win are used to winning are calm.
Yeah, but you guys are not used to
but
winning again now.
Hold on. Who has the most Premier League titles in Premier League?
No,
That's
Hold on.
Your current team now
History,
has not won anything.
history lesson is in session, guys.
Hold on. You won the Premier League title once in the last 30 years. You can't speak about this.
No, it's not that. Your current team has not won anything.
Zip it.
If not,
Carling Cup last year, who won it? You're not in the Champions League.
Okay, but Yubi,
No,
explain to me why.
hold on.
you're not winning. You're not winning.
Since we're speaking about present tense, Liverpool keep quiet. Can we agree?
Seven trophies in the last 7 years.
No, now let's establish ground rules. Except there's a massive fan here. Everybody else keep
Liverpool
quiet.
won the Champions League 4 years ago. What are you talking about?
3 years.
So let's not do history, right? If we're gonna do history, let's do history. If we're gonna do present tense, let's do present tense. Can we agree?
You know, your team is not winning.
Can we agree?
You don't have a
You
winning team.
don't have a
Okay. Let's do
don't speak here. Don't speak here. Let's do present. Right.
Let's do
present
tense. Why has Man United not won an away game against the top 4 team in the last 15 games away?
15 games is fine. United,
why is there only one draw and everything else is losses?
Listen. How many points did you guys finish off the table last season? At the top last season?
Off City.
I think 5.
7 or
you're
something.
You're not. This is not a Liverpool competition. It's an Arsenal competition, right?
5.
So relax.
No, yeah, a few points off City, and in the direct games we got slapped.
5 points off City, 9 points off United, right?
Okay.
Right. I'll give you context, right? From the previous year, Arsenal won 15 more points than they won in the previous year before last year. United won 17 more points, right? So when you think about progress, your manager has been there for 4 years. 4 years, right? This is his 4.5 year at Arsenal. Ten Hag came last year, finished 17 points more than the team finished the previous year, right? So we're speaking about progress. Ten Hag make more progress than Arteta in 1 year, right? Now, of course, Arteta has been there for 4 years, which took him 4 years to compete for the title, which in the end we can agree wasn't a competition. What was that? What happened was a false sense of competition, because if you know what competition is, it's what Dortmund and Bayern Munich did in the Bundesliga, right? On the final day, they were still necking, right? Competition is what Liverpool did with 99 points and 100 points. That's competition, right? Competition is what United did with Man City and United, Balotelli scoring and Aguero scoring in 98 minutes of the game. That's competition. That's you competing for something. So I want to give perspective to your fandom and your bubble. So if you come at the king, best don't miss. That's my own submission. If you want to speak about history, let's talk about history. You want to speak about present tense, let's talk about present tense. Because your manager made a mess of the transfer window, went pursued everybody. People don't want to go there.
Yeah, but
let's not
let's talk about Man United's transfer window. Wait. How is Johnny Evans? How is Johnny Evans and Maguire
doing well? You have Maguire
playing for Man United in 2023? Explain to me.
Come off now. Relax.
You sign Onana, you sign Johnny Evans, so you are doing well.
Hold on.
So that's the shambles of a transfer window.
Exactly.
Here's what I would say, right? Liverpool have started better than United, better than Chelsea, better than in some regard. Okay, Arsenal drew. So Liverpool have basically started. Liverpool never lose now.
Leave them now.
And in terms of even in terms of a team being on a high, the way they won against Newcastle, they are probably on a higher confidence level than even Arsenal. You know.
No, yeah, they've definitely started better than Man United. They have more points.
Of course.
I just think Liverpool this year is gonna be let's score goals and let's not worry about the goals that we're definitely going to concede, because with the defensive structure, with the midfield right now, I think Liverpool is back to Klopp's first seasons at Liverpool, where it was rock and roll. Let's go and outscore teams and try to win the Europa League and get into the top 4.
So I was going to say what I was going to say about Arsenal before we move on from Arsenal. First, I think what I think about Arsenal fans is different from obviously what I think about let's analyze what is going on at Arsenal, a game they played, or obviously. Don't worry yourself. Arsenal fans, I think, and I've said it multiple times, even on Twitter. Sometimes there are Arsenal fans I see, even physically, and I'm like, why you, so that's why when we're on the podcast, anyone comes around is an Arsenal fan, Stan is an Arsenal fan. He's always very, I prefer us to have an objective conversation from, let's analyze. We're not doing the fan thing that they do on Twitter, because that actually, in my opinion, I think I don't like the free fall, because I think it's a free fall. I go on Twitter, I see people celebrating players of other teams getting long-term injuries. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I see with Arsenal fans, it feels like every time you analyze the situation, somehow Arsenal fans just feel like, oh, you hate us, you don't like us. I met an Arsenal fan last weekend, you me too. We met him together, and the first thing he says that you guys, I don't like you guys because you guys hate Arsenal. I'm like, what do you mean hate Arsenal? We talk about football. Sometimes I talk about Chelsea. People feel like, boy, you're a Chelsea fan. It doesn't matter. I'm a Chelsea fan, but there are things. If it's objective, right? So with Arsenal, what I think about their fans is what I think about their fans. I think they are doing too much. You know, if we're going to talk about it from an Arsenal fan perspective, it's just 4 games into the season. A lot can happen before December. A lot can happen before January. So when you can be happy about your team. Doing too much is projecting that on other teams, and like I said, people celebrating on the timeline. Oh, other teams.
Let me help you out. Let me help you out, right? How can the same set of fans, right, who just in May, right, were begging everybody to reduce the expectations on them, right? We're pleading with everybody. No, please, you guys cut us some slack. We didn't compete for that, so we should have been in the top 4, right? May, June, July, August, September, barely 4 months. It is serious amnesia. Like no, it's all
that's the nature. That's the nature of football fans.
Hold on.
It's a new season, clean slate.
When you see, when it was like a silly thing Jurgen Klopp said, at the Champions League final. He said book the flights, book the hotel. You can't be in competitive sports. You can't be that unserious with throwaway comments. You lost a final, right? You haven't gone back to see if you were too arrogant, if you prepared wrongly. In the post-match presser, your arrogance says, book the next flight, right? And they come back and beat you again, right? And you all of a sudden want us to have some sympathy on you. Hell no. So if 4 months ago, Arsenal fans were pleading with all of us to lower expectations on them, and now they are the ones saying we are challenging for a title. Yo, you have a record for topping the table for the most match days and still losing. You should keep quiet until 32 match days at the very least. In my opinion, Arsenal fans should keep quiet till 36 match days before they can say, you know what, I think we'll win this thing. After what happened last season.
It's football. Right? It's football fandom, like I said.
On the last episode of the podcast, no, there's football fandom, right? But there is reality. We're all football fans at heart. Let's not make it. Let's not mess around, right?
Guys.
We're all football fans. And when I want to wear my United cap, I wear it well. You understand? I say this player on my payroll. I support my player, right? I don't go and do that and say, oh, the last fan was just shout out to him. Bought me a nice Guinness last week, and he said, well, Wan-Bissaka going to say somebody don't say something saying defense against somebody today. I'm like, yo, this is what Wan-Bissaka does all the time. There's not one time in the game, right, that this guy drove past Wan-Bissaka, right? He said, oh, Wan-Bissaka going to say play passes today. Yo, Wan-Bissaka has played against the best of the best, and he's always doing the same thing. So once I'm not surprised that Wan-Bissaka is going to make that tackle and win it, why are you quick to point out to me that your player is having a good game? It's almost like insecurity. Do you get? That almost like if Hoyland scores a goal, I bought him for big money. Okay, should score a goal.
Well, if we're going to bring in the perspective that Stan talked about, maybe we can understand why Arsenal fans are doing too much.
Stan, don't make a mistake. This is not about you.
But I can tell
Stan guys, Arsenal fans is a very broad term. So we all know that Arsenal fans on social media is the most, wild and the ones that bring the most engagement. Come on, we're all in content creation. We know that when you mention Arsenal, you're gonna get clicks, you're gonna get comments. Yeah. So first of all, I don't speak for all Arsenal fans. I don't speak for the ones that are getting excited, for the ones that are wishing injuries and all this. I think any moderate, realistic Arsenal fan like Ini is as well on the podcast knows that, we have a young team. We bottled it last season. hopefully we've learned our lesson. We've had a decent transfer market. I heard you guys last week giving 6.5, 7.5. I agree. I do think after the Timber injury, if you're a serious team and you do want to go for the league, you go back into the market and you sign another player. Because to bring back Man United, you don't want, when 2-3 injuries happen, to be exposed and have to play, the likes of, okay, we don't have Holding anymore, but people that are not good enough at that level.
Yeah. So, yeah. And now that Tierney is out of the team as well. So if something happens to Zinchenko, what do you do?
Exactly.
You get it was like last season, right? And the first to give us our props, right? And the first to give us our props, aside Ini, right? And the first to give us our props. Like, these guys, I even said, you know what? These guys are going to win it. After the win at Old Trafford last year, then Ketia let me go. I said, man, these guys are going to win it, right? But then came a guy who has played the game. Gary Neville said, I am not convinced one bit at what these jokers are doing. I don't think they'll win it. And it was literally, at that point, it was literally him against the rest of the world. Because even I was like, Arsenal are going to win it from here. I don't see how they lose it, right? And from then on, because he knew something, we don't know. Can you tell me now, right, that team has grown mentally in terms of personality on the evidence of 4 games? Can you tell me that? You can't tell me that, right? Declan Rice has come and scored 1 goal against United, had a couple of good games. Can you tell me that he knows what he needs to be in the starting run?
No, he was the best player on the pitch.
He was not.
Let's be real.
He was not. Listen,
he was.
No.
He had a few tackles in, got the ball from Bruno,
I've watched that
Casemiro.
Game. I've watched that game twice.
He was the man of the match for a reason.
They were
not just a goal.
You see, there were hardly any moments when Casemiro and Declan Rice were head-to-head. I watched that game twice, right? Because I want to have a perspective and speaking to Arsenal fans, right? Arsenal's best player on the day was Martinelli. And you see, you have to forget justifying the price tag. Let the player do the justification for the price tag, right? You support the club with your open mind, right? Mm-hmm. What I see Arsenal fans doing is forcefully trying to give Declan Rice the man of the match for every single game, right?
I would have said the same if it was Granit Xhaka. But it was Declan Rice. For me, he had a brilliant game.
It was Martinelli. He had the best game. If Martinelli didn't create it.
So Martinelli was probing. He was active, but Declan Rice was the one that had the impact to win that midfield battle. Arsenal won the midfield. I don't know. That's how I saw the game. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong.
I thought Arsenal,
what United was doing,
in my opinion, like I said on radio, Arsenal were the better team, obviously. It was a game that at some point could have gone either way, because at 1-1, if the Garnacho goal was given, there's a very, we know that in the game, United scored and Arsenal replied immediately. But at that moment in the game when Garnacho scored, if that goal was given, we're probably talking about a different result, possibly, because that's football. So at that moment in the game, it was like a game that could have gone either ways. But for the entire 90 minutes, Arsenal were the better team.
Yeah,
right?
but the thing is that because of that goal you spoke about,
what
means that the game was actually evenly matched. When you say Arsenal played better,
No.
We're not
talking about Liverpool. When they suddenly have an objective, analysis.
United curtailed them
because Arsenal were the better side. Arsenal were the better side in terms of
for 15 minutes. Listen. Arsenal were head and shoulders ahead of United. Relax. I'll let you finish. I have a go-kart calling me. I will forget. Arsenal were the best team for the first 25 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
From then on, United figured it out and evened out. Now, what you have to ask yourself,
United had one shot and they scored the goal.
Hold on. Did you watch the Brighton West Ham game?
Or the Liverpool Newcastle game?
Or Liverpool Newcastle game, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see
Right.
bold like mad.
Hold on.
This podcast
Hold on. We know the
hold on
concept.
now. Hold on.
Okay,
This podcast allows this. I'm going to get a call and you go on, right? This
make
podcast
I wait for
allows.
your call.
Relax. This podcast allows for high. In fact, I need to say heightened objectiveness, right? Not your throw around conversation, right? I watched that game twice, right? And I can bet that you have not seen that game 2 times.
Now because you know the now why you go down watch that game like 2 times.
You go watch that game like 100 times.
I don't have to watch the game 16 times. You see,
fair.
I don't talk about.
He has enough watching Chelsea. Leave him alone.
I don't talk about say Arsenal were head and shoulders. I don't need to watch the game 16 times. Arsenal, I'm not talking about possession or anything. Arsenal, the chances they created. Look, the first goal United scored was a break from Arsenal's whatever they were doing. The chance, if Saka scored the sitter, is a different conversation again. Arsenal created the better chances. In fact, they had chances to score goals. They kept on piling. It wasn't just possession without purpose. It wasn't just possession without prowess. Look, I'm not talking about Arsenal,
let me count. Let me tell you how many chances Arsenal had in the game.
That's not what I'm talking about.
It was exactly the same as the US, the friendly in the US. That's how United played.
Before United scored the opening goal. That's one chance. That's one chance, right? Because it's the same sequence of play. Hold on. Before Rashford scores, Dalot heads the ball. Martial heads the ball to Martial. Martial puts it into the path of Havertz. Havertz lagos the ball. Then Martinez clears before Saka can shoot. After that, you don't have any chance again. United score their one chance, right? Relax. Let me count. No, let me count for you. After United score, Arsenal equalize immediately. Now, after Arsenal equalize, the game stays like that until halftime. When the second half starts,
Arsenal equalized immediately after Arsenal scored. The fact that Arsenal equalized immediately after United scores should also even tell you, like, Arsenal were. I am not. I'll analyze that later. I'm telling you. You're telling me Arsenal had 100. I'm telling you Arsenal. I'm counting the chances Arsenal had for you. So let me finish. Let me finish. Arsenal were the better side in the course of 90 minutes. I don't talk say Arsenal were heads and shoulders above United. That's what I said.
So leave that particular conversation first for another. Leave that particular conversation, right? Second half starts, right? Odegaard has another chance where he should take a shot early. He skips, and eventually tries to chip, right? Now there's another chance that Saka now gets, right? Which he should score, but he doesn't connect with the ball properly. And Onana uses his knee to touch the ball and saves the ball. After that chance, right? United have a chance with Højlund, right? When they cross the ball in,
Gabriel.
Rashford goes past Ben White, skins Ben White, comes inside and crosses the ball, and Højlund doesn't make the right contact with the ball, right? After that chance, United score the counter attack. After the counter attack, Arsenal get a chance from the corner and score that chance. From then on, it's an open game. Arsenal go and score. So I've just told you the chances Arsenal had. Now, in terms of style of play, Arteta has been with the team for 4 years. What do we expect is going to happen?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. United is 2 years behind Arsenal. Let's be real. United is 2 years behind Arsenal. Three. So, but right. I have a question. Yubi, I have a question for you. What team in the Premier League does Anthony Martial start for?
No team.
How is he allowed to start for Man United at the beginning of the season?
Because unfortunately,
it's poor planning. It's poor planning.
It's a consequence. You should know this. It's a consequence of bad decisions over the years. In the last 2 transfer windows, right? Ten Hag brought in 5 players in the first transfer window, right? This second transfer window brought in 4 players, right? Now, Ragnick said,
but it's not enough. It's not enough.
Hold on, it's not enough. But you don't have an open check.
You do. You're Man United. You're the richest. You're the
Are we
you're
joking?
the team that generates the
Are we
most.
Are we joking?
Alpha go that I never call you.
Are we joking?
Man United
joking?
generates the most money out of brand and sponsorships.
Are we gonna joke about not knowing that United are in a pickle? United have paid $900+ million.
I think it's a myth. I think it's a myth. United has been spending money consistently every single year, and the fans are, trying to scapegoat the Glazers when they've spent over £1 billion.
Are you listening? What did Ragnick say when he left United? United will need at least 11 players, right?
So 2 more to go.
Right. Have you listened to the math I did? Ten Hag signed Martinez, signed Ericsson, which are the three.
Signed 9, basically.
Signed 9 players, right? So by that, Ragnick's analysis, it remained 2 players.
Okay.
Right? Now, in all of that, they still are constrained by FFP. Are you going to deny that you don't understand that United have wasted money in the last couple of years? So when you speak about spending and you speak about good spending, they're 2 different things entirely, right? Solskjaer is the reason Martial is still a coach at United. Solskjaer is the reason we can't sell Maguire. Solskjaer is the reason we have a problem letting everybody go. He's the reason we have to pay Phil Jones to cut his contract away. So
you'll be serious teams. Serious teams sit down and say, listen, how much do you want to pay off? Let's sign on the dotted line. You're out of the club. Serious teams do not incorporate Maguire back into their squad.
You haven't run $1 million competition before, so you can't speak about the finances of this thing.
Stan, I naturally would agree with this statement you just made, but Stan, Chelsea did the same thing this transfer window, and what they've gotten is literal bashing for it. So, because what Chelsea have done in this just correct transfer window is, we don't want this player, we don't want this player, we don't want this player, we don't want this player. Go and your agents look for a solution. You need to go. That's basically what they've done. There's a podcast episode that we did. I can't remember which one. There's a record of where I was saying, once the season ends, if everything goes well, players like Kai Havertz, Koulibaly, Conor Gallagher, all of these people are out of the team. And I just mentioned about 5. And at the end of the season, they ended up letting a full starting 11 and more go. So that's basically what they've done. If you don't want to be here, you are out the door. Oh, you're not pulling your weight. You are out the door. Even though some of them had ridiculous wages, they sat down with them and found a solution and say you are out.
For me, I think that with United, if you know you don't have a blank check, then you shouldn't go after Hollywood signings like all these 100 million.
Which Hollywood signing did they go after?
Sancho, Anthony.
No, that was years ago.
Remember, no, it's not. That's last year. Sancho. No, the thing is,
they bought Sancho,
you have to manage.
Nobody would have faulted them for buying Sancho.
No. If you don't have a blank check, it's like Liverpool now saying we want to sign all our money to sign one player. Try and balance out the team, because the truth is, at the moment, right, the United team doesn't still feel scary. It doesn't.
So yes, Wale. So here's the thing. You see, with Sancho, you had a manager in place at the time. With a manager, you had a plan to say, oh, this is the team that we're trying to build. And at that time, under that manager, you look at the team and say, okay, this player is available, we have all of this here. We just need to add this in this position. That was what the Sancho signing was. Remember, with the Sancho signing, Ole was okay with having Cristiano Ronaldo in the team. So striking position, they just needed to find something to back Ronaldo up.
How did Chelsea suddenly reach this conversation when we're having a conversation about United? You're right. You want to justify Chelsea? Relax. So what I heard you say,
you don't do 30 minutes for a while. You don't want to make another team.
No. What I heard you saying was, for example, Sancho, for example, right? When United bought Sancho, this is what people forget. United had 2 options to buy 2 players, right? It was between Sancho or Grealish. Right? Sancho or Grealish. And Grealish was going to be cheaper than Sancho. Right? Or the same price.
Same price.
Right? Or same price. Right? Now, it was clear for all to see that that United needed Grealish more than Sancho. Right? The manager goes ahead and buys Sancho. Right? So we all knew from that time that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a guy that didn't have a plan.
But it wasn't an outrightly bad decision at the time, though.
At the time, it wasn't.
Relax.
At the time, but Sancho was balling out.
Yeah, it wasn't like light and darkness.
We knew what we knew. When you analyze the team, right? And this is something. This is why I say that. When I take 2%, people think I'm being arrogant. But the fact is that if you just pause a little bit, you can see clearly, right, that Grealish should have been a better option for United. Because guess what? Sancho was playing in a team that had lots of players with little or no responsibility, right? Could do his thing. Grealish was playing an Aston Villa team who is single-handedly saved from relegation, right? For 3-4 seasons, from the Championship up to the Premier League and mainly in the Premier League. That team needed character. Relax. What was clear is that Grealish was the guy United needed to buy. To build, just not for the talent, but for the character.
You don't
this person where they call you. See, let's move. Honestly, I feel like we need to move away from United.
One more thing, guys. One more thing. Because I feel like Man United fans, because they want to back their manager, they're giving excuses for Erik ten Hag, and it's time now. We need to start looking into his transfers. No, what has Anthony? Why is he persisting with Anthony still? Explain to me, what has Anthony done, except for like 2 wordies last season? I think a goal against City. How do you keep Anthony at the club and you let Anthony Elanga go, who for me right now in the Premier League is the better player? You have to see, Stan, you have to choose what you want to do, right? Do you want to support Arsenal? Or do you want to have an acquisition into Man United, right? Because the last time I checked, hold on. I want to ask questions about Ten Hag because he's not bulletproof. Last time he's throwing Sancho under the bus. Why do you do that? Keep that under, inside the dressing room. Why do you have to?
You don't keep it under. When you show a player a good side and a good time, you have to show the player that it is important to win. At top clubs, if Ferguson does the same thing, do you make a comment about it?
Not publicly. You don't do it publicly to a guy that's just had mental health problems. And
hold on. Sancho clearly had a money coddling from Ten Hag last year. In United's time, since you started watching football, have you ever heard the coach give a player time off for an unstated reason before?
That's Ten Hag's fault now. It's nobody's fault.
Hold on. Don't listen to speak. Listen to hear what I'm saying. Ferguson gave Ronaldo time. Said, you know what, boss? My mom is sick. Like what? You have to go. Take all the time you need, right?
Yeah, Obama and Arsenal.
Right. Sancho didn't have one problem, right? The coach himself is the one that decided, you know what, this kid could maybe use some time away from this environment. So you know what? Go out to the Netherlands, take some time off, then from then on you start recuperating, right? Now, when Pep bought Calvin Phillips, they didn't play him, right? That's the guy that starts for England. Nobody said anything. He comes back from the World Cup, Pep says, you're overweight, right? Nobody says anything. Nobody says, that's the equivalent of what Ten Hag has done.
No, but that's
right.
Yeah, but Pep has enough money in the bank to do
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. He has the right to do that for his team, as Ten Hag has the right to do it for his team. Right? So his right
there's still a question mark. There's still a question mark about
you see, for managers, okay, what right did Guardiola have to sell Ronaldinho in his first season?
So here's what I would say.
What right did he have to let Deco go in his first season?
In my own opinion,
right? When you hire a manager, you give him the right. That's when you hire the manager. You go through the process because you want to hand him the autonomy, right? So let's not analyze like kids. Let's speak objectively.
I don't have a problem.
So don't tell me about rights that Pep has. When Klopp sends Shaqiri away, right? Because for whatever reason not to Klopp, what right does Klopp have to do that?
You had won 2 Bundesliga now.
I don't have a problem.
Ten Hag has won
No,
three titles
I'm not even talking about
in the Netherlands.
I'm not even talking
So let's speak
about the
objectively
pedigree of the manager. In my opinion, the manager will do what he feels is best for himself and his team, irrespective of his pedigree. The manager can't think. Again, that's what I keep saying. If you think from the angle of the manager can't think, oh, I don't have a pedigree yet, so I can't make this decision, or I can't do that. No, that's not how the manager will think.
One question, sorry. What did Chelsea fans not like Potter for?
So here's what I would say about
for a lack of spine. That's what.
So
that's
here's what
fundamentally
I would say about Ten Hag.
Why they didn't like him.
Here's what I would say about Ten Hag, right? And that's Sancho's situation. I don't have a problem with calling your players out in the media if whatever you need to do. I don't have a problem with it at all, especially if the player is messing around. I don't have a problem with it. He's an adult, he's a professional, you shouldn't be messing around. And if they are messing around, you take what's coming to you. But the only issue for me is if Ten Hag has gone out, you see, we have all in the football ecosystem created this narrative and this system of, oh, you know, it is a new generation, football has changed, the new footballers now are different, you know, they are not like the old footballers, you know, they now have this, they have that, they have social media, we've created that narrative, the whole football ecosystem. Now, if the player now says, if the manager goes public, I can also go public. It is a direct function of that system that was created. How football has changed, is a new system now, the players are different. That's one. Two, from Ten Hag's perspective, if he has gone and said that oh, he didn't train well during the week, so I didn't pick him. If that is not what actually happened, because from the statement that Sancho put out, he has said, I conducted myself perfectly well in training this week. If truly that is not what happened, and Ten Hag has gone and said that publicly, then he has completely lost the dressing room, in my opinion.
Let me pause you. First of all, you are wrong. You have not lost the dressing room, right? First of all, you are wrong.
That means you have not listened to what I've said. If you have listened to what I've said, you will hear that what I've said is, if Ten Hag has said,
operating what if I heard it, I just
what
wanted
has
to
happened, like Sancho has said, because I don't speak as a matter of fact as knowing that's what happened. I'm saying the player has said one thing, the manager has said one thing.
There's something called
what the manager has said is not what has actually happened, like the player has said. Then Ten Hag has lost the dressing room.
I hear he hasn't. First of all, if it's true, but it's not relevant, right? It's not true, right? And he hasn't lost the dressing room. Now, what I speak from is not facts, right? And nobody can claim to know the fact except that in the room with Sancho and Ten Hag. What that now means is that we cannot keep waiting in that black hole. Now, what we now rely on inference and people who spend their lives reporting the club in close quarters. Now, Wale, go to Samuel Locker's page now, right? Or Telegraph Docker or Roy Whitwell. In the Euros 2021, right? There was an issue. Gary Southgate said that Sancho wasn't training at the levels that were required to be selected for the team, right? So what happened to, if this thing keeps reoccurring and somebody else comes and says, oh, this guy doesn't train at a good level. And all of a sudden, because you want to create a narrative about Ten Hag, you ignore what the past managers have said. When Conte went to Tottenham and had that famous rant, right? He said, look, we can't keep saying that, it's Spursy. The fact remains that we've had 6 managers here who are all top managers and they've said the same thing and they've failed. Can you say that this managers don't have spine? So let's not analyze situations in isolation. There's always perspective. I can guarantee you now, go to Laurie Whitwell's page or go to Samuel Locker's page. He has literally gone back to find his tweets, which he made in 2021, when he wrote on the same story, right? So Ten Hag was asked a question. And this is what I think about English journalists. You have to choose what you want to do. Do you want to know the truth about the players? Or when you ask the question to the managers, you want them to lie to you? Because he was asked the question, why wasn't Jadon Sancho selected in the match day team. And Ten Hag said
on the
that
flip
Basically,
side,
he could have said,
United,
I just didn't
on the
pick him.
flip side,
agree with
on the flip side, it looks
the
like
team
he was
needed
looking
him
for the
today.
easy scapegoat. On the flip
Yubi,
side,
there's no need to
no,
do
it's
that
not
in
a
the media.
scapegoat. No,
You
it's not a
come in your
scapegoat.
office.
Ten
You come in
Hag-
your office and say, "Listen, I don't like how you're training. You need to buckle up your ideas if you want to get into the team."
but it can't be
And
so
that's
sure he
it. It
hasn't done that
stays
already.
inside. The
The
way
manager-
that he
the
does
manager-
it,
the ma-
the way that Ten Hag does it, for me, it's a cry to something above him. It's a cry
Listen.
to get a reaction. And in a functional
All
club,
of you-
that's not how you get a
all of you,
reaction.
you speak about no. Ten Hag actually wants him gone. I'll go further to say Ten Hag actually wants him gone, right? So when João Cancelo questions Pep Guardiola's tactics, and Pep says we are willing to sell him to Man United if Man United come for him, he wants him gone, and you can see the way he was hawked around. Has Sancho ever performed to the levels of João Cancelo in any time in his life before?
Maybe at Dortmund, but for one season.
Right. I'm talking about top level. Dortmund is like is next. Dortmund is
Don't disrespect me.
Let's not do that.
Don't disrespect
where
me.
you are. It's top level.
Sancho and Haaland in that one
Anyway,
season, they were
anyway,
world class. They were world
anyway.
class.
Exactly.
The point is, one person is going to win the Ballon d'Or. One person is sulking, showing his skills on social media, right? So let's not compare day and night.
So
my point is, you complain about saying the football world is soft. In your analysis, you say, "Oh, we're creating an ecosystem." When a manager tries to do it the right way, you cry foul.
No.
Right?
Nobody's crying foul. What I've said.
It's not the right way.
So let's not.
Stan,
Go
on.
Analyze.
Stan, you want to say something?
No, let's move on.
Oh, okay. So
this episode is actually about United. Because there's literally no story. There's literally there are few big stories in the world.
The thing about player-manager relationship. A player might not be training well. A player, you might not train well. It can happen. The player is serious, doesn't train well. That's fantastic. The manager does what the manager needs to do. Either drops in, tells the ownership, I want this guy gone, or whatever, decides to go to the public and speak about him. Like I have said, if a player is not training well, not performing well, is messing about, I don't care how the manager handles him. The manager decides whether he goes public, whether he drops it. That's not my business. Whatever the manager decides, I think is fair game. If a professional is not performing well, if a professional is messing around, whatever the manager decides, I think is fair game, in my opinion. What I have said is, with player-manager relationship, I don't know if any one of you have seen this video of Troy Deeney, that this interview that Troy Deeney did. He did an interview for a time. He was at Watford, and there was a manager that came, and the manager didn't like him. As in, the manager doesn't rate him to be in the team, so he wasn't getting in the team. So, and Troy Deeney was like, the teammates were like, Troy, what's going on? Say, you know what? It's cool. Worst case scenario, he'll be gone soon. Whatever, it's cool. I'm not playing now. I'm just good. Wasn't making a fuss about it. And then there was a game that he played, and they lost the game, and they're in the dressing room. And the manager comes into the dressing room and is shaking each of the players. Say, well done, well done, well done, well done. Shaking all of the players around. And then gets to him and skips. You gets to him and skips. Goes to the other guy. Troy Deeney was like, I was looking at the guy like, Said, calls him back. Say, what are you doing? This is a dressing room. Everybody is sitting down. You're literally shaking everybody, telling them, well done. And you're going to skip me? Look, I know that you think you're from the whatever you're from, but I'll break you in half if you try. What are you doing? And they had that heated back and forth. Next thing, this guy does an interview and goes, well, there are people who don't want to be in the team. For example, Troy Deeney doesn't want to be here, And he was going, what the hell is going on? That's what I mean by, I'm not finished the story, but that's what I mean by the players in the dressing room. They are professionals. So they might be messing around or whatever. The moment they get a sniff that the manager is not being honest, that the manager is not being honest with how he has treated, especially someone that's popular in the dressing room. Because the player might not be playing well and still be popular in the dressing room. It is human relationship. The player might not be doing well.
It's not Sancho.
And still be popular.
Let's get that clear. It's not Sancho.
Now, and I'm not talking about this to prove a point that what Ten Hag did is wrong. I'm playing the narrative of the scenario of anything can happen behind the scenes. If Troy Deeney didn't come out to make this interview, we'll never know that, oh, this is what happened that led up to the manager being fired. And Troy Deeney now said, after the guy was fired, the club, Watford, were now telling him, Troy, don't say anything in public. Don't say anything in public. And he told them, the guy has gone to tell the media that I don't want to be at the club, that I am the problem. Is either the club says something or I say something. I'm not going to let this narrative go. And then the club goes out and put out a statement that no, Troy wasn't the problem, is committed to the club. So that's what I mean by a lot goes on behind the scenes. If there has been any situation where the players get a sniff of the manager is not being honest, it doesn't matter if the player is performing or not. There's a problem. That's the scenario that played out.
What I would say to all of that is I hear your analysis, and I know that it's coming from you're trying to draw parallels from the Cristiano situation, which is not true, right? No, I'm actually trying to sort out my rider. Okay. So I hear what you're saying, but the manager will ask a simple question: can we simply always analyze things on the merits of it, not on prejudice? That's my simple if something happens at Liverpool, right, and the manager says this guy wants him out of the club, right, the manager has a job to deliver results. So Liverpool fans have to choose between the rest of the 22 footballers in the team or one player who's not Mo Salah. The only player earned the right to throw a tantrum in that team is Mo Salah, Alisson, and Van Dijk. The rest can go to hell. That's how it's done at top football clubs. That's how
like
it's
I
done.
said,
I don't have
a problem
that's constantly
as a matter of fact, if you want the player gone,
it's Alex Ferguson.
As a matter of fact, if you want the player gone, personally, I prefer you are upfront about it. If you want the player gone, I prefer you are upfront about it. The player knows that this manager wants me. So there's no, we're playing this.
But the transfer, the transfer window just closed. So what are you actually going to achieve with that? It's only going to be a negative reaction, If you do want to motivate him,
then it should be before the transfer window ends. Gone.
You can afford not to play him till the season ends now. So you can afford to do that. It doesn't. He has just made his point.
See, that's the problem.
But it doesn't help anyone. His value drops
more than necessary.
His value is going to drop. You can't sell him.
So
who benefits? Who benefits from this?
Who's are you? That is not your problem to bear, right? The manager has made a decision, right? His value drops, value doesn't drop. United don't sell players for hire anyway, right? The manager has made a choice because he was asked the question. He has said
he's playing Anthony because of the value. He's playing Anthony because of the value he invested in.
So listen. I'll give you an example, right? And this shuts down all your analysis, right? Last season, United's best player was Rashford. Rashford missed 1 minute, came in late by 10 minutes thereabouts, something like that. And Ten Hag had a game to play. So you're not going to play, right? This selects him in the starting 11. When asked the question, in his makeup, he was being honest and upfront about it. It was clear the guy had disciplinary issues. That was his best player. So
you be relaxed. You be relaxed. There are rules in football clubs. You come late to training, fine. You come late on a match day, you don't start.
I have just told you that
irrespective. It's different from. It is different from a player having a run of disciplinary issues. It's different.
Who creates the rules? Who creates the rules?
No, you never get it at the talk. There are rules where, look.
Who creates the rules?
This is, for example, and it's not just football clubs. Calm down. And it's not just football clubs. Even musicians, their record labels, you enter the studio, the rules is on the wall. Again, with football clubs, we have written down rules. It could be the manager. It could be what the new manager bringing in his own rules. In addition to what the club has, on match day, this is what we wear. If you come late on a match day, you are not starting. If you come late to training, you get a fine. You pay a fine. There are those rules that, irrespective of who you are, you know that you pay. But it's different from a player having a run of disciplinary issues. You know, maybe not training well, not, you know,
third player.
It's different.
Third player wasn't training well. The manager was asked a question. He answered honestly. Can we move the fuck on from Jadon Sancho? Because the manager has said what he should say, right? If the manager gets fired, it's on him. Ten Hag has been in a job for at least 10 years. He knows how to handle players. You can't know that better than him.
The only issue I have with this conversation, Yubi, is that you can't. There's analysis generally going on. Everybody talks about everything. You can't say, oh, you can't talk about. Why are you talking about? No. We're having a conversation. Not be me hire Ten Hag, and not be me go fire him. They will make decision where they will make anyway. The point of this whole conversation is, oh, what is your take on this? What is your take on what? You can't say, oh, why are you talking about this person? You can't talk about this person. Do you want to? No. We're all the same way. If we move on from Manchester United, we move on to Liverpool. We all talk about whatever. The same way you made allusions to something that Jurgen Klopp might have said, you know, in an interview. We all talk about that. When we move on to Chelsea, we all talk about that. So that's my only issue with this conversation.
Yeah, I only brought it up because I like balance when we talk about managers, and like we talk about fans. Look, like Arteta now has a big stock with Arsenal fans, right? Does that mean I shouldn't go in on him and criticize him for persisting with Kai Havertz? No.
Yeah.
He is being stubborn, and I don't see a reason why he's being stubborn, because why are you putting an unnecessary extra pressure on this guy when he's just signed from Chelsea? We know the relationship between Chelsea and Arsenal, how many players, you know, Willian and all these players that didn't work out. Sit him on the bench. There's players there. It's not like, you know, you got Smith Rowe, you got Fabio Vieira, who's playing very well. Yeah. Exactly. Sit him on the bench. Stop being, you know, in the last press conference, he compared it to his relationship with his wife and how he had to win her over. Why are you doing that? Like, why are you getting yourself roped in? You know? So just to tell you that I'm objective. So my manager, I'll back him on other decisions, but when I see something wrong, just like I think Ten Hag is doing something wrong now, because he's putting, like Olakule said, that dressing room now. Imagine that dressing room now, you know, when you have people like Maguire, that he wasn't good enough, and clearly Ten Hag wanted to get rid of him. He's now part of the squad, and he's actually now going to play because there's a lot of injuries. So this guy is there. You have Johnny Evans, who, for me, it's ridiculous. Not even Man United that he's in the Premier League. I mean, he got relegated for a reason last season. You got Sancho. That's harsh. That's publicly
a good player on his day.
Publicly outed. You have Anthony Martial, who, let's not forget, 2 years ago he was sent on loan to Sevilla, and you know how many goals he scored? 2.
1. Okay,
or 1. Yeah. So this is the problem I have, that dressing room is bubbling. And unless results are starting to come, there's going to be problems.
No, I mean, look, I do see the reality of it, Stan, is that, and you have to be honest enough to be able to admit that United are a different club than any other club in that Premier League. A very different club in terms of the size of it, in terms of the level where they've elevated the club in terms of, like, represent England in terms of club football. You know, there's that narrative around, it's the biggest club in the world, is that kind of thing. In England, it's United. You know, you go to Spain, you say Real Madrid, biggest club in the world, Barcelona. In England, it's United. So, and that, sometimes you feel like, it's because that narrative is only on the outside. But somehow, that thing is inside the club as well. And it feels like it affects, you know, even decision-making, how the club is run, everything. Because what you just said now, there's an actual danger there, right? We saw that with Chelsea last season, where you had a lot of players in the dressing room that the manager clearly doesn't want. that they clearly do not want to be there, aside from the money that he gets. You now have cliques of, oh, these ones, they are together. These ones, they are together. There was a problem that everybody, even on the outside, you could see. You see them in training. You see the people that are together, different from the other ones. The older guys, Ziyech and all these guys, different in a different clique from the Rhys James. And
Same
you
thing
saw
happened
that
Aubameyang on his own.
at PSG as well.
You said?
That PSG
Aubameyang
as well. Mbappe had
Exactly.
his people. Messi, Neymar had their people.
Exactly. You saw that. And that's why you remember last episode, I was saying, people said, I knew that there was a problem. And to solve that problem, you needed to completely raid out that dressing room. You needed to clear out that dressing room. And it felt like the management saw the same thing. The sporting directors and everything decided, we're going to go to work. We need to clear out this dressing room. Because if you don't, you are going to undermine whatever new you are trying to build. You're going to. So when Ten Hag made the decision, Ronaldo out, at the time, I didn't like the way he handled it, but I said it that I can get that you're trying to build something new. So away with the old. I can get that. I just didn't like the way it was handled. I just didn't agree with the way it was handled. So if you get Ronaldo out, it's not just Ronaldo you need to get out. There are other guys that need to get out of that team so that you are able to build what you want to build. And they haven't done that, which is why it feels weird that you are coming after Sancho in public when the transfer window has ended. Because you don't have anywhere to push him now until January. So you guys would have to, and that's where, again, you have to now be wise. The window has ended. How do I handle this situation to have a more... There are different examples. You see, when you make conversation for this angle, there are examples for it. If you make conversation for that other angle, there are examples for it.
Yeah, but if
Solomon
he doesn't say it, if he doesn't say it and doesn't play him, it's still the same thing now. So
No, there are conversations that could be had. There are conversations that could be had in like when Pochettino came. Pochettino said about Lukaku. That's a conversation that was ended before I came. I don't need to reopen it. If the club tells me something different, fantastic. But that conversation, on the first day I came in, I knew the situation with all the players. Which means I knew the situation about Lukaku. The club and the player side, they already found a solution. And you could tell the solution was, bro, you are going out of this team. You are not coming back into this team. And we saw that play out. Even when they couldn't get a club to get him, he was with the under-21s. They didn't allow him near the first team. They didn't allow him near the first team at all until they were able to get him out. So you can see the club already took a position of, you must find a solution away from this club. They're not trying to entertain, okay, if nobody gets you, okay. They're not trying to entertain that. We want to build from ground up. We want to build from ground up. Solomon Kalou mentioned something about
Stan. Sorry, guys. I was listening to Stan, and Stan was saying some of the most ridiculous things I ever heard. You get?
Are you limping?
Stan. Sorry.
Are you limping?
No, he's walking now.
I'm not limping. You can't tell when somebody's walking.
Too much running now.
Stan made the point which I think is ridiculous as everything.
Network will not allow you to say what you want.
Network is sitting on your bed.
You see, you can't analyze from a. If you can you hear me now?
Yeah,
okay,
go
better
on.
now.
Yeah.
You see, there is when I see Instagram comedy, I know that I'm watching a skit, right? And I'm ready to watch a skit, right? When I see serious people having serious conversations, and I'm expecting to hear serious conversations, right? So when you speak about some football topics, and I hear you have to choose if you want to faff. If you want to faff, you can faff, right?
What is the point?
Get to the chase.
For example,
Get to the chase. Get to the chase, Yubi.
Relax.
We ain't got time.
Stan made the point. Stan made the point about, he was talking about your dressing room, one thing like that. He said the results, as long as you're winning. Bro, it's fucking 4 games to the season. United have won 2 games and lost 2. What's the lost dressing room about? What in that sequence of results suggests to you?
No. You are getting it wrong.
Or you are saying it because or you're saying it because or you're saying it because the Daily Mail reported the same story.
No.
Oh,
You
Chris
be
Wheeler
No, no.
said that.
Wait,
You
you get that wrong.
the seeds that he's planting in that dressing room are going to bubble and explode in his face if he continues like that. That's what I'm saying.
Nobody's saying he has lost the dressing room as a matter of he has lost the dressing room. No. What we're saying is that the transfer window just ended. If you have players that you want out in that same dressing room, just like we all talked about this with Chelsea last season. If you have players that you want out in that dressing room for the season, those are foundations for creating issues in the dressing room. That's what we're saying. So if you want the players out, the club, and that was why maybe you didn't hear what I was saying. What I started with, the last thing I said was, we have to identify, first of all, that United is a different club than every other club in England. And that somehow has seeped into even how they run the club. If you want players out, the board needs to know that these players are a problem for me and I need them out. Because if you have them in the dressing room, those are what are lying in wait in your dressing room that will create problems.
I hear you, but for what you're saying is that the manager must decide only during the transfer window if he wants players out or in.
No, the only reason we said that is because
safer.
the transfer window just ended and this thing just happened last week, just maybe a week after the transfer window.
Because it just happened.
Stop trying to find excuses. Stop trying to find excuses for Eric Ten Hag. If he wanted someone gone, you go and you get rid of him. You find a way. Big serious clubs find a way to get rid of players. Look at Arsenal with Aubameyang. They wanted him out. They got him out. Somehow Barcelona, you make
Arsenal should never have signed Aubameyang in the first place. But there's a different conversation entirely, right?
Arsenal,
and we all agree
when they signed him,
and we all agree that what happened at Teta and Aubameyang, there's still a question mark over it. I picked Teta's side, even though I said, look, if you want to nuance the conversation,
there's no question mark. What's the question mark?
Hold on.
It's an exclamation. It's an exclamation point.
Hold on.
He's been proven right.
If he hasn't proven, I haven't won anything. Hold on. You
don't have to win anything to be building a new team with a new mentality.
This is where me and you differ, right? I'm about winning. And only thing that matters to me is
so
winning.
You think Man United with their Carling Cup, they've achieved more than Arsenal last season? That's what you believe.
They won a trophy. It's perspective. Ten Hag has been there 1 year. I gave you the perspective. They finished 17 points better than they finished last year. You guys finished 15 points better. Who had a better season? In perspective, in context,
Arsenal had a better season.
Always learn, always hold perspective. Don't argue or don't make a point. Don't analyze open-endedly.
I would rather be in a title challenge than win the Carling Cup. And I think any Premier League team would take that.
That's your own.
I'd rather win.
Unless you're Tottenham, because Tottenham is the only club that's happy with the Carling Cup.
Look,
is Man United now at Spurs level? Is that what you're saying?
Listen. That is a joke you can make. That's a joke you can make, with your Arsenal fans, right? But when you come to speak on the podcast, what I'm telling you is, unless I'm not around, right, is that in competitive football, the most important thing is winning. Liverpool played 99 points season, right, and didn't win. They can cry all they want about it. They failed to do what was necessary to win, right? So the point is simple. Winning is all that matters at the top. If you are Brighton, performances matter. If you are Tottenham, performances can matter. If you are United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City nowadays, Real Madrid, the only thing they want is to win.
Right. So what's United going to win? What's United going to win this season? What's United going to win this season?
If you were Real Madrid, right? And they won their games by wait, hold on. If you're Real Madrid and they won their games at the last minutes in the last two games or thereabouts, you would have been crying, saying, they turn up playing what they have to.
Wait, guys. What issue do you have with Stan's take on Ten Hag and United's situation?
His take is predicated on 4 games, right? And I'm telling him that for an Arsenal fan, right?
It's on the whole transfer window, on the whole summer. That's what I'm basing it
had a
on.
brilliant transfer window, right? And I put it at 6.5 or 6/10. Right?
United waited
Yes,
until the last minute of the transfer window to sign the player they needed all summer.
So if you score a goal at the 90th minute of Champions League final, you win it. Your win doesn't count. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you kidding me?
You're not serious.
There's a reason they announced to everybody that the window will close on the 1st of September, 11 p.m.
You can't say that about United. You can't say that about United and then say that Chelsea looking to sign Caicedo is bad.
Listen. What did Alan Pardew say, right? Alan Pardew made a point and said, look, and I'm sure none of you have seen it because you only read Daily Mail, right?
I don't even read Daily Mail.
Now, what Alan Pardew said is this. He said, look, from his experience of managing and being at clubs at the top level, not just managing, being football director and all that kind of stuff. In his experience, the reason people are not going for Sofia Amrabat, right, is because, one, the club and the player and the other club as well have had a gentleman agreement that, look,
you're making excuses, you're making excuses again.
It's not
serious club goes and slaps an offer and signs a player. Look at Arsenal with Declan Rice. You go do it early, get it over with. That's it. Get him in the preseason, get him in your system. Now Amrabat is not going to fit into this system until Christmas now.
Now you're speaking with your eyes closed and your mouth open, right? And your ears closed as well. Now, the reason United signed Amrabat last, right? And I didn't like it, but I had to see the strategy and analyze from the strategy. It was the one position that they did not need an instant injection, right?
No, they needed to sign him instead of Mount. Mount was the luxury transfer that they didn't need.
You have no idea what you're saying. You have no idea what you're saying.
All right.
You have no idea what you're saying because United
that's a fair point.
Positions. It's actually a very mid point because Casemiro is always fit and always plays, and United had Scott McTominay, right, had Fred as doubles for those positions, right, and just recently launched a new kid into town. Hold on. Just recently,
let's be honest.
In Kobe Mainoo, right? In Eriksen's position, there is no other player that could play that position except Eriksen, and Eriksen is, as you all know, somebody says he's played by the grace of God. So in that analysis I'm giving you, which position was most pertinent to have a backup for?
United leads legs and ball carriers in that midfield, and it was obvious. It was obvious from last season.
When you ask them a simple, direct question, they move on. Anyway, I'm done with the conversation because I've just shot your point down in just injustice.
Is it today? Let's just agree that you because support on this podcast today.
You can't say that Caicedo's deal was messy because it came in last minute. Then you now say that Amrabat's own, look at what happened behind the scene. No.
You see, this thing, I've said it. Transfers, like I would always say, a lot of things happen, a lot of things go on, whatever. With United, like you have said, it's just from McTominay. No, even UB himself, I've always told us that Scott McTominay and co were not good enough and they needed to leave and United wanted to sell them. So
there is something about not being good enough. And you see, you have a flat tire, right? You have a tire that's not good. It's not completely dead yet. But you still manage the tire until you have the money to replace it.
Okay.
Like, how many times have I told you, right?
No. That analogy never ends. You need to now add. You need to now add that you have only 1 month. You have only 1 month. You have that tire. Your phone screen is broken, right? And you don't have money to buy another phone immediately. So what do? You manage your phone, right? But you have only 1 month to make that to make that decision to continue or to change. So you simply go ahead and make a gentleman agreement and pursue other targets. How hard is it for logical thinking people to understand this? Hold on. So what you're saying in essence is that, because I remember before you brought out Alan Pardew's perspective, what we talked about is that United needed to sell before they could do Amrabat's deal. United needed to bring in money before they could do Amrabat's deal. And that was also why eventually when they would do Amrabat's deal, it was a loan with an option. So
Tell us
the
what we don't
issue
know.
was
Let's tell us what we
money.
know.
Now you are saying what Alan Pardew said is what is logical. Forgetting that Alan Pardew also said that he's saying, from my experience, this is probably what the situation is. Bearing in mind, Alan Pardew said, oh, they've made a gentleman's agreement that, this player will do. That's why other clubs didn't come. No, other clubs didn't come probably because the other clubs that have wanted to come spoke to the player side first, and the player side already told them, look, we only want United, and we're focused on United.
Tell us
there
what I
could have been
know.
different things.
What I don't know. So what are you telling me that I don't know? Because
What I'm telling you is that no, wait. What I'm telling you is that you are saying what Alan Pardew said is the logical thing that we should go with. I am saying that before you brought Alan Pardew's perspective, what was the logical thing that the logical argument you were making was that United needed to bring in money, was why they didn't do Amrabat's deal early. Because they needed to sell first before being able to do Amrabat's deal because of money. And now you are saying that, because they needed to do Mason Mount's deal first, so they went and did a gentleman's agreement, like Alan Pardew said, was why they were able to leave it late. No, what you were telling us before was that
I still don't get it. You said the same thing 4 times. I still don't get it, right? But I don't understand how it is hard, right, to understand that you have a couple of positions to fill, right? And some clubs will be easier to deal with than other clubs. Some players are more willing to join you than some other players. Some other players need competition. Hold on, right? Now, you do your due diligence and you realize that with Chelsea, you need to get Mr. Mount early. Else, Liverpool are on him, And it's not like he's Amrabat, he has been watching United since he was small and he's a United fan, or he's not like Højlund, right? So you realize that, this guy, we want him, he wants us, but he will not wait for us.
No.
So,
no. I'm a Chelsea fan. This is why I will not tell you. And his people were like,
who do you
that he was going to United a long time ago.
The point is simple.
No, Liverpool wanted him. Liverpool also wanted him.
He was going to go.
Mason Mount also, Liverpool also wanted
a
Mount.
Good deal
but Mount already decided he was going to United.
I don't think he decided.
Liverpool
I know that we were following
United
Mount, and we just heard that United had deals with him.
Yeah. Did Liverpool ever put in a bid for Mount?
Guy. That's my point.
No, I'm asking Wale. Did Liverpool ever put in a bid for Mason Mount?
My point is very simple, right? My point is very simple. And I don't need to go into Chelsea. I don't need to open doors, open one door, open another door. That's not the point, right? I am the first person to give United transfer window a 6/10. So when Stan comes and tells me, the Amrabat deal, you are singing to the church. You're preaching to the church rather, or singing to the choir. So I'm not the guy to come and look. I'm the first person.
And so why you going to argue him now if you agree with him?
No. I agree. I'm the first person that says I don't agree with you saying you can make a conclusion after 4 games, right? So you can't.
Not making a conclusion. He's just saying that he's sowing seeds. That's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying. He didn't say. As a matter of fact, he's not making a conclusion.
It is a ridiculous thing to say after 4 games.
that is sowing seeds.
For a guy that didn't win the title after 31 games.
No, does not mean that you should not have an objective. Don't say this thing now. The fact that he's an Arsenal fan doesn't mean he's talking about United now.
Guys, let's move on United. They don't deserve that much attention anyway.
I am not gagging Stan, right? I'm not gagging Stan, right? And we will see it. We will see this.
Yubi, let me just say, Yubi, I want to just finish this conversation by saying, honestly, for me, if United was serious this summer, and don't talk about me about money and all this, they go and slap 100 million and get Kane. If Fergie was back in United, that's exactly what Alex Ferguson would do. We need goals. We need a striker. Go and get Kane. Because that's guaranteed 25 goals a season. That's when United jump to a title contender.
There's when you make there's when
That's
you make a point. You see, that's why I say you read Daily Mail, because that's what the Daily Mail reported, right?
No, that's what I would.
No,
No,
you be. That's
no,
not that. Yeah, you be. Don't be. Don't.
All
We have we have this conversation back and forth on the podcast. Hurricane
no.
United.
Listen. What Liverpool did last year, for example, is building a top-heavy side. The objective is consistently to build a balanced team and manage that balanced team, then to a point where it is so balanced that when you eventually add the cherry on the cake, everything kicks.
If
Who
you,
the cherry?
if you want bake cake, if you buy the cherry first, no use that.
That's it.
Oh, are they serious? Wait, why can't you buy the cherry? I don't
It's
understand.
banter, right? So I'll take it as
Wale,
that, right?
Oh, it's
Anyway,
not banter.
when Sir Alex Ferguson, if it's not banter, it's a senseless comment.
If you buy cherry, no use them. I put them at the end.
When Van Persie joined United, right? United were lacking only one thing.
They were lacking in a lot of things. They were lacking. That defense was shambles.
No. United. God bless you, Stan. If you guys remember, after he won that league, people were now saying it was only Ferguson that could have won the league with this team.
Absolutely, and it showed. And it showed when he left that team.
People are fundamentally.
No. That team.
Anyway, I'm done.
Remember. That team was going this way.
The Inter Milan team were going this way when they won the treble.
And Mourinho came and bought 5 players. He didn't buy one. Mourinho came and bought 5 or 6 players. He didn't buy one.
Ferguson wins the title by Van Persie, which now gives him the gold. What the fuck are you saying? The team had the best defense in the Premier League.
No, you are saying that you said you need to relax. You need to relax.
I'm not relaxed as anybody. I'm just saying
because I know.
I know.
If I was the one speaking, you be go say you is a Chelsea fan's perspective.
No. You have said I'm United fan. I have won close easily. But I am replying. Lack of perspective with perspective. How hard is that to understand?
No wahala. It's the same thing I was doing to you that day because you didn't have the Chelsea perspective.
No, you were Chelsea fan.
Let it out.
I'm not angry. I'm a United fan. I'm not angry about that.
Let me tell you. You said United were lacking one thing when they bought Van Persie. That's not accurate.
Can I just say I'm not interested about the conversation with Van Persie? I made an example, right?
Okay, good.
No.
Okay,
because what you are good at doing is I make a Chelsea example, then you want to speak about Chelsea all of a sudden.
No, I'm not speaking about Chelsea all of a sudden.
So
let's move on.
Anyway,
let's move on.
We can move on from it, but Stan, right? You cannot. You cannot sound knowledgeable when you analyze football on a week-to-week basis.
My final point about Man U.
You didn't make the final point all this while.
I have said Ten Hag wants Sancho gone. Which other player does Ten Hag want gone in that team?
Maguire. But you say he should stay now.
Maguire. So Ten Hag wants Maguire gone. Who else? Who
is saying you or Wale?
I'm asking you now.
You're not asking me. You're counting.
You wanted Maguire gone now.
Oh no. Let him answer. Let you the answer. Ten Hag wants Sancho gone.
It's not my job to give you an answer.
No, now you said now you talk and say Ten Hag wants Sancho gone. So I'm asking.
Yeah, make the analysis.
Which other player? So I'm asking which other player.
Do you have something to say or not? Do you have a final point or not?
What I have to say is predicated on who.
Then you won't get it.
This person has to go. But it's fine.
So we don't have a final point.
If your coach.
Oh, so you have a final point now.
If your coach wants that player gone, right? And this is me, then I see no reason why. Because you have gone and bought Højlund. Højlund is not the final piece of the jigsaw. It's not.
Nobody has told you he is. So,
I'm talking my own. Let me talk my own. I'm talking my own. Højlund is not the final piece of the jigsaw. Nowhere close. Right. So if you have bought Højlund and you want XYZ players out of the team, right? And you just told us that, oh, you are trying to build a balanced team. You're trying to build a balanced team. If you want XYZ out of the team, you bought Højlund, which means that you are going to bring in, either you bring in more new players, young players, to build your whatever ground up, which speaks to what we're saying about if you want all these players gone, why do you have them in the dressing room? Which is what we'll be saying, that it creates, those are the seeds that are lying in wait. Because you want them out anyway, and the player that you have bought does not suggest that you are bringing in a final piece of this jigsaw. It further suggests that you are building from the ground up. And you want these players out, and they are in your dressing room. How are you able to build? How?
If I want to speak to people that understand the game, right? Players have contracts. Players have contracts, right? What it means is that you cannot throw players away. You have to do it.
You are talking about people that understand the game, and you needed to say you cannot throw players away. You are speaking
of course. No, because if you understand that, right, you will know that whether you want the player gone or not doesn't mean that they will not be at the club.
Yubi, was Ronaldo not under contract?
Ronaldo knew he wanted to go and did the interview.
Was Ronaldo not under contract?
He was under contract, yes.
Were they able to get rid of him when it was clear that he's not in
Ronaldo got rid of himself.
In case you don't know. Right. So there are ways. So there are ways to get rid of players. If you're serious about getting rid.
Hold on. Does Sancho have the leverage to call a Pesmaga and do an interview? Who the fuck is going to watch it?
Oh, fair play to Ten Hag. I think this is his tactics. He will push the player to the wall so that you go to the press.
Right. So when you say you want the player gone,
there's a pattern there.
There's a pattern.
You say you want the player gone, right? And it happens in Abacadabra. If you, I mean, you know football. You know there's no proper finger. I want a player gone, but I have to wait.
No, but you don't see the pattern.
Come on, man.
Jadon Sancho is under contract in case you don't know. Jadon Sancho is under contract to 2026 with an option for a further year. Right.
Yes.
Now on big wages. Now that's one of the hardest players to move on.
You can send him out on loan, no, bro. You don't have to sell him out.
Wait. Why was it so hard to get Inter Milan to get to send Lukaku out on the team?
Because Chelsea said they didn't want a loan.
When they realized that they had no other option.
Now Chelsea talk say they don't want loan.
So
they still managed to get rid of him, and they still did.
So if you're a football person, right? If you're a football, that's the thing. People don't read. You don't read things that are not sensational.
You will stop defending the undefendable.
If you read how Lukaku went to AS Roma, right?
Yeah.
Lukaku actually, Mourinho was the final. Lukaku took 11 times less his wages to be at Roma.
What if I said before? Wait. What if I say when you went? Wait. Hold on. Wait. What if I say when you went off with that? Because they didn't want the player in the team. Even during
it was obvious they didn't want the player in the team. So him and his team needed to look for a
the player did not want to be there either. That's what you don't realize. Chelsea didn't want Lukaku to be there. Lukaku did not want to play for Chelsea ever again.
Yes, that's what we're saying.
Right. So when iron meets iron, it sharpens, right? He said, you know what? Train with the under 23s. Oh, fantastic. I don't want to be here anyway. I'm going to do just that.
Right. That's why Eric Ten Hag goes over the summer. He goes to Sancho and says, "You're not in my plans." And now Sancho wants to go.
How I know that you're not. How I know that your football is not solid is when you don't know the simple facts like Sancho, right? Is one of those players that want to enjoy the benefits of not playing, but also don't want to get any stick from it.
You don't know that.
You don't know that.
You don't know that.
Of course, no. You don't know the game, right?
You don't know that.
You don't know the game, right?
You don't know that.
Anyway, I'm done with competition. I'm done with speaking football with people that put their football cap on one side. It's a bullshit. It's a shit show. It's a complete shit show.
Okay. Let's leave United so
You
that
get-
we can come
Yeah,
back.
let's leave
I-
United
it's not-
alone.
Come
the
back to
podcast is
normal.
done today.
Let's go back
Yes,
to
sir.
basics. Let's leave United.
You get
That way-
no. Honestly, you know me. If you want to insult Ten Hag, I'm the first to insult. I said this guy on
He
formula.
says a shit show.
No one insulting Ten Hag, you be. We're
not
asking
saying you want to insult
questions.
Ten Hag.
We're asking
No,
questions.
Stan.
Did I say
Lagos-
Eric Ten Hag is the
Lagos
worst
lingo,
manager?
Lagos-
He needs to be
Lagos lingo.
sacked.
No, insult
You
is
are-
banned. Insult is like we're not saying
You're
not
you're
the best option
you're
in the
being a fan right now. You're defending.
world. I
when-
wear
when-
it fully.
You're defending
I'm not
where
like Rufai.
sometimes
You say-
we need to
you say
criticize
the
these
fans
managers.
get angry.
Do you think Ten Hag is getting millions of pounds every month? Why should we feel
Yes.
bad about these guys? We are here to scrutinize, to ask questions. That's all we're doing.
By all means, no, by all
Right.
means, Stan. By
And
all
I
means,
think,
right,
and I
right.
think Ten Hag didn't do his job well this summer because it's showing now after 4 games. As you say, they haven't done well. They haven't done that bad, but he's already setting himself up for
First of
potential
all-
problems in the future. That's all I'm
First
saying.
of all, the manager doesn't handle. The manager is the starting point of a transfer. From then on, everything is out of his hands. And you should know this because you're a football guy.
No, I
Because
know.
all the
but
manager does is
he's clearly not made it. He's
Every-
clearly not made it
hold on,
clear
hold on,
this summer
hold on.
that Sancho is not in his plans. He's
I'll
realizing
give
it
you-
4
I'll-
games in.
I'll give you a simple example, right? Jose Mourinho is at Roma. You think Jose Mourinho doesn't know the players that he needs to buy to win trophy immediately?
You think what? Say
Roma
that
is
again.
another Roma. You can't compare Roma to Man United. Come on, let's be real, man.
What happened with Castro?
The point,
You see,
the
it's
point
good
is
that you
simple.
mentioned
The
Roma
point,
and
the
Jose
point,
Mourinho.
the point is simple.
happened with Castro?
Rufai, every time I make an example, don't open the door fully. I make an example.
No,
you
because
are
the
used to.
example, you
You are
the
used to.
perfect
I make an example.
here. The perfect
Listen.
example here that Stan is
You
talking
didn't make the
about.
example. I made the example, so let me finish with it. Right now, the manager, in terms of acquiring players, identifies the player he wants. From then on, it's out of his hands. Right? The club can come back and tell you, we don't have the resources to buy the player. Right? What is your plan B? He gives them the plan B. They come back and say, you know what? The plan B too, we don't have the resources. Same thing with outgoings. I don't want this guy, right? The club come back and tell you, we can't move them on. So deal with it, right? So if you're a football person you claim to be, and I know you are, right? But you are trying to be a fan unnecessarily. You're trying to be fanatic, right?
You're
Give
trying
me
to be a fan.
Quick question. Quick question.
Hold on. Let me finish.
No,
if you let me finish.
I go forget.
If you let me
Quick
finish.
question.
If you let me finish, right?
No, quick question.
When
Now,
the
this
manager
way
says that one
I
player
will
has
ask you
gone,
question.
right?
Now, quick question.
I'm listening.
Quick question. You just said same thing with outgoings. If the manager says, I don't want this player, I want them gone. The club says, we can't move them on. Deal with it. Now, the question is, if the manager says, this, like you said, I don't want this player, and the club says, look, we're not able to get rid of this player at this
What's the
moment
question?
in time, what does the manager do? If the club
What does the
says,
manager do?
we can't get rid of this player at this point in time, what does the manager do?
The manager now has the right to deal with it, however he sees fit.
So the question I'm asking you is, what does he do? Like, you are the manager.
The
What-
manager, I
what
just
does- or
answered
you say
you.
you know
I didn't
you are a
stutter.
football person.
I
What
didn't
does the
stu- I didn't- I
manager
didn't
do?
stu- I didn't stutter. You have now left it back to the manager's discretion. He can do whatever he wants to do.
Okay.
Let's move on, guys. Come on.
Simple, right? Do we have any? I Sancho and Ten Hag is the. I'm happy because it's always coinciding with the international break.
Is it that it's time?
You're again setting yourself up
United
for
are-
making
you-
another
United are
bad
making-
financial decision.
Don't
Another
worry,
bad
don't-
financial decision.
That's why you leave accounting to accounting people. Football people do football. Accounting people.
Okay,
do
but then
accounting.
don't tell me that there's
So-
not enough money for Man United to buy players then. Right?
Yeah, I mean, if I tell you don't want to listen, I mean, you don't have to listen.
Exactly.
You don't have to listen.
You can't
No,
have
but
it both
it's true,
ways.
exactly.
You can't have it
You don't
both
know.
ways. If you're making
No,
an
you don't have to
intelligent
listen.
decision, you get rid of players when their value is somewhat.
Listen.
Okay, tell me. This summer,
United don't have
is a
money to
Premier
buy
League
players.
club not going to take a chance on Sancho now? This summer,
That's their business, right?
They would have.
I don't care if he goes to the Championship Division 8, right? The point is that United shown under Ten Hag that he won't be part of the team, right?
Another question.
He won't be part of the team.
Another question. Do you agree that destroying his value in the market hurts United much more than it hurts anybody?
I don't agree.
Okay.
Next question.
Chelsea.
Anybody has more questions?
No, we're done.
Apparently today I'm doing homeschooling. So I have to school grown men. Right? So any more questions? Well, if you have any question?
If you want to defend your guy, defend them now.
So let's let's speak about United. Clearly, you see, let's speak about United, and only fans of United understand this. United are the biggest club not named Real Madrid, right? And every story, even the ones as irrelevant as a Jadon Sancho story, is a big story.
Which is why you don't do that as a manager of Man United. You don't go out publicly knowing that everything is amplified. That's the problem I have with it.
No. I prefer honest people. You prefer people that don't tell you the truth.
No.
I am different.
There's difference between honesty and being professional, Yubi. There's difference.
They asked him a question. He answered the question.
As a matter
if anybody
has
has problem with that,
people to come out and talk to media most of the time.
They should look at themselves.
The fact that you come and speak in the media doesn't make you honest.
Everything you say outside.
Mr. Man, the guy will ask the question, answer the question. Can you move on?
Well, now you talk say the story will be amplified. As a matter of fact, that point you made about United being the biggest club, so stories will be amplified, is a faulty point. Everybody knows United is the biggest
Chelsea bigger than Real Madrid. Chelsea bigger than United. No, hold on.
There's nobody now.
Chelsea,
any story that comes out of anywhere now is a problem.
Chelsea bigger than United.
No, even Olakule half an hour ago said the same thing.
I asked you one question, you can't answer. You asked me about 10 questions today.
No, he already said it initially.
It goes both ways. When you're the biggest club in England, you have to take criticism. That's it.
No, you can't have both ways. You see, the problem
that when you're the biggest club, that means you can't move like other clubs.
The manager is asked a question, he answers the question. It's simple. Anybody who has a problem with that has to look at themselves. Right?
That's fine. That's your.
I think, and I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something that I think football fans do. Right. If a manager, asks a question or puts a player that is clearly underperforming to the side and says, this guy's not performing, and full adults that have jobs and have to account for the jobs are defending the player, it tells me more about them than the manager.
Who's defending the player?
Right? It tells me those people see themselves in the player and they're projecting their fears on the manager. Because if your boss at the office, says you were supposed to deliver XYZ KPIs on an amount of time and you didn't do it, right? And your first response is to go and cry. No, go and fucking do the job.
You just want to defend and support. First of all, I have not heard anybody here defend Sancho or anything. Say, he did. Now you know where you did hear that one.
It's an honest thing, right?
Nobody here.
Vinicius Junior. We're on the radio. We're on the radio, right? On the radio. This same Rufai. I was thinking about Vinicius Junior and this thing and Carlo Ancelotti. And Vinicius is not happy with the way he was playing. Carlo Ancelotti, Vinicius is not happy that they're playing him as one of two strikers, right? As opposed to playing far out on the left, right?
Yep.
In my opinion, right, that is the beginning of, he can demand that because he has seen his best position. He's on the pedestal of one of the best players in the world. So he can go to the manager and say, you know what, hey boss, I'm not happy that I'm playing in this position. But you know what the manager tells him? The manager says in the press conference that, Vinicius simply has to listen to what I say. Right? Nobody bats an eyelid.
But that's not a
Right.
problem. That's not a problem.
Hold on.
Different context.
Hold on. Now the manager all of a sudden has the say. And I asked Rufai on the radio, and he says, what Vinicius needs to do is to play where the manager says you should play. Right?
Yes.
All of a sudden, right, the same fellow doesn't understand, listen to the manager.
No, UB, what I said on radio, what I said on radio, can you tell me how what I said on radio is different from what I said here?
Why is different? Because you, in that position, you back the manager, right? And you can go back to our podcast early days, right?
No, finish this.
No, it's simple now. I finish it now. I don't stutter.
I say how waiting I talk for radio, they're different from waiting I talk for here.
Because in this case, you're backing Jadon Sancho, and you say the player,
where I get back Jadon Sancho for here?
You are backing Jadon Sancho. You get
interesting.
But whether directly or by inference.
So all the things I've been saying since you have not heard anything.
No. You see, that's what I said. Whether directly or by inference.
No, it's not directly or by inference anything. Because clearly, the first time I spoke on Jadon Sancho here, I said it that when a player is messing around, when a player is not performing, be it in games or training, I don't care how the manager handles him. He's open to anything that's coming. He should get anything that's coming to him. That's the first thing I said on this show, on this episode. So what are you on about, my brother?
Let's agree on this podcast today, so that I don't have to do this homeschooling again, right? Now, anytime a player has a problem with a manager, right, I would on performance, right, I would always back the manager.
That's fine for you. For me, right?
Now, this is the second part, right? The second part is, in the case of, let's say, for example, Aubameyang and Arteta, when there is a clear issue of like this guy said, oh, I went to visit my family. You understand? I can analyze it. But when it has to do with football, strictly on performance, I back the manager all the time.
Fantastic.
The player can go to his church, get a family members, and go to hell we don't want to go to.
Fantastic.
That's my stand.
Now, I don't take it's not, once it's performance, I back the manager. That's not my point. That's not my own stand. That's your own stand. My own stand is, right, if it's about performance, and I'll use examples to give you my own stand. The reason they say Mourinho comes out, he bashes players in public, I back him. The reason I back him, first of all, is that there's nobody that has played under Mourinho at least I've not heard, maybe I'm wrong, that has accused him of dishonesty. If Mourinho comes out to say anything about you in public, that's probably because to your face, he has said more than that. To your face, he has questioned your performance multiple times, and he has told you what he needed to tell you to your face about performance or any other thing. So nobody has been able to accuse him of dishonesty. If I don't back the manager in another scenario, like this Sancho scenario, I said what I said at first. It is about one or two players already saying, this person tells me something to my face, says something different in public. This person tells me, says it to my face, says it in public, right?
Which players?
That's the scenario I play. Now, with Ten Hag, I'm not saying that's what he does. I'm only saying Ronaldo mentioned, he said something in the public, he said different to my face. Now, Sancho hasn't said so, but Sancho is bringing out a different narrative, which it might be lying. Honestly, like I said, I haven't said about Ten Hag. What I'm saying is that's why I don't back the manager immediately. Every situation is different. Every scenario is different. It could be a different conversation. I'm not going to go, if it's about performance, I back the manager anytime, any day. No. Fair. Every scenario is different. And on the merit of that scenario is who I back. And
just to add, Ronaldo did not say Ten Hag told you something different and told you something probably. He only said
Ronaldo said to my face. Ronaldo said to my face, he does those.
Can you find the quote?
He does different. He said that.
Can you find the quote?
Okay, I go find out.
Right. What Ronaldo said
in that interview
is that
with Piers Morgan, he said
what Ronaldo said doesn't respect me, and I don't respect him. But he didn't say, he told me something to my face, and he told something, no, I never said that.
Okay.
Never said that. Right. Let's just get that out. Do you have any stories? Barcelona, I don't know, man, what's happening there. Real Madrid, I think I like their new stadium. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
Stan, you barely have to get 30 goals this season.
I don't know. I think 20 in all competitions he can. But as much as he's done brilliantly so far, you can't think that this is sustainable. I think he's in the right place at the right time. He has the instinct. Even at Dortmund, he was scoring loads of goals. He has that leadership, that we've been talking about. He was captain, at Borussia Dortmund, and I think in that aspect he was captain, wasn't he?
Who?
No,
Jude Bellingham.
Marco Reus.
Oh, Bellingham. Okay, I thought you were saying Sanchez.
No, I think not like confirmed captain, but obviously
not confirmed captain.
And anyway, I just want to say, like, his leadership skills are filling the void a little bit of the fact that Benzema left the club. And so far, 4 or 5 games in, his goals are also filling that. But if you're a realistic Real Madrid fan, you know that it's not sustainable. And Joselu, as much as he's consistently delivered 12 to 15 goals for weaker sides. So, if there's logic behind this, then he should be able to at least replicate that for Real Madrid. But as we've been saying all along, Real Madrid is short up front. They don't have, like, even back in, last season, they had Mariano, they had Azar. You can say whatever you want about these players, but they had them there as options. Now,
Asensio
Rodrigo gets injured, Vinicius gets injured. Yeah, Asensio was there as well. They got Brahim Diaz, they got Arda Güler, but those are attacking midfielders. They're not really options for, on the flanks or up front. But the new stadium, brilliant. Brilliant. It's increased capacity as well by a few thousand, and we saw it the other day again. It's the Bernabeu. You never save when you see that 8-minute stoppage time. You're shooting yourself. And no, brilliant Bellingham. I think he surprised a lot of people here in Spain because they haven't actually watched him in the Bundesliga. They just thought, okay, another young player, another Tchouaméni, another Camavinga, take a few years. And the way he's just, gone straight in, taking his chance with both hands. I also think it's helping that Ancelotti is here, with him. Because he has that knack of, bringing out young players, especially like in his position, with that diamond. So far, so good. But let's see, once the Champions League comes around, I thought that was a bit of a tough draw with Napoli. Probably not the best team you won from the first pot. I think, for example, Arsenal, let's be honest, Sevilla, okay, they won the Europa League, but they're not a world-class side right now. Like, especially, it's proven they're at bottom of the league right now in La Liga. So
they were struggling
they've been picking up the points.
They won the Europa League, sure. I get your point.
One of us knows they need Anthony Taylor.
They've lost more players. They've lost Bono now.
Yeah.
They didn't lose Ocampo. Ocampo is not good.
Well, Sergio Ramos has joined. So
Sergio Ramos has joined.
I want to ask you guys: Is Jude Bellingham the best English players at the moment? At the moment,
there's Sakana.
That's what I'm asking. Like, who's the main man?
I think you has to be. I mean, Bellingham. You know what? It's a little bit. I think Saka would edge it just a little bit because Bellingham basically just did this in 4 games or what 3 in 4 games, right?
But he had a brilliant World Cup as well.
He had a brilliant World Cup, and Saka did too, if I'm not mistaken.
As well.
So, yeah. But the playing for Madrid, I even feel like playing for Madrid and delivering and performing like that is what takes him really close to Saka. Because I think Saka has been like, constant performer.
That's best young English player, or best English player at the moment. Is it best young English player? Because best English player is still Harry Kane. But I get what you guys are saying, Sha.
See, Hurricane, we don't say Hurricane just they do small, make it
Hurricane,
finish.
Hurricane is the best English player. There is no, you see,
Yes.
that's the thing about
In the last how many years?
So that
Hurricane,
what I'm saying, that is it best
no.
young English player or best English player?
See, English no hard, right? And we call to talk about England again. You understand, right? Best English player is Hurricane. Does Hurricane have a German blood inside his body?
Hurricane.
You get,
you get
Hurricane is
Nigeria.
the best English player. Like he's the best English player. So when you talk about young player, Saka is the best English young player.
Right. Over Foden, over Bellingham, and cool.
Oh, Foden is not Foden is talented, but he's not close to Saka's levels. He's not close to Saka's level. It's not close. He starts first at his club. And
no, don't say it's not close. Don't say it's not close.
Let's not start this. I beg.
He is not close, right? I said what I said. I didn't stop that.
No, only I said what I said. Nah.
Anyway,
another
issue I have is when Stan said, and Stan, you know, I've
attacking it today.
Right?
Attacking it today.
Stan said it's not sustainable. What do you mean it's not sustainable?
No, but it's not.
He's an attacking midfielder that's taking advantage of a role that and he's scoring he's scoring tap-ins, and like I'm not taking anything away from it. But
the reason you say it's not sustainable is Benzema scored how many goals last season?
32,
right? 32 goals, right? So, and you currently don't have anyone in your team that has proven that it can get you that number of goals right now. And guess what? The 32 goals that you scored, you didn't win the Champions League, you didn't win the La Liga. You didn't win the La Liga. So basically, you can't afford those goals out of your team. You basically need more. So, and you don't have anyone in your team now that has proven that they can get you that many. So that's why Bellingham from midfield is not sustainable to put it on him that the goals will keep coming from him. That's basically what it's not sustainable. That is the one that Madrid are looking for goals. It's not sustainable.
Have Madrid released a presser to that effect to say that's their plan going forward?
Yeah, but that's what he has said. That is not sustainable.
By not doing anything. No, but you'll be by not doing anything in the transfer window to address that issue, by waiting on Mbappe for another summer, for 5 years straight. They are proving it.
Again. As opposed to what you think. As opposed to what you might think, clubs don't have an endless pit of finances if you're not Man City.
No, but they got rid of players. They got rid of Asensio. They got rid of Mariano. They got rid of Eden Hazard. There's clearly money in the club.
How much did they sell Eden Hazard for?
No, they didn't sell him for money. The point is that you are now
getting rid of it is saving you money already. I think he signed off the last year of his contract.
How much did they sell Hazard for?
He signed off his last year of the contract, which was, I don't know, 8 to 10 million.
Mariano for?
He went to Sevilla. I don't know exactly what the combination is, but his wages are off the bill. They can acquire another player.
Wages off the bill doesn't mean wages off the bill doesn't mean you say, oh, hello bank account, some wages are off the bill, so there's money in the bank account.
Yeah, but it's clearly they're waiting
wages off the bill.
On Mbappe.
Wages of the bill mean that you have room to bring in if you want to.
It means that you've created room to be more flexible. It doesn't give you transfer money.
It does not have to be transfer money. If you listen to what is
how do you bring players to Real Madrid, please?
If you listen to what Stan is saying, saying.
I know.
Yeah,
you're not the only one hearing Stan. I can hear Stan loud.
Thinner squad.
No,
it's a thinner squad.
If you listen to what you're saying, you don't need to argue the point, because the simple point is that
I was asking him a question. Why are you feeling bad for him? I'm asking him a question. You are feeling bad for Stan. Hold on, let me answer the question, right? Listen. He said they sold players, right? What I said is United is consistent, right? Clubs don't have the idea of that fans have. They've just gone to the transfer window and signed one of the best English young players for £103 million. What it means is that they've done an incredible amount of business, which has left them short elsewhere. Do you honestly think that Real Madrid have the money, right, lying in the bank to go ahead and sign another £80 million player, and they don't do it?
Madrid
but
have never had
Mbappe,
money
they
line.
definitely
Mbappe
do.
was
Madrid have
available,
always
they
signed
would have
They
players.
signed
definitely
him.
do.
Come on, Haba.
Madrid
You
have
know
never
this.
had money line in bank, but they've always signed players.
Relax.
Let's
Relax,
not be
relax,
They would have
relax.
signed Mbappe if he was
Always.
available this summer.
They listen. Real Madrid have not for a second made any bid on Mbappe.
If
What they
Mbappe
have
was
done
available,
from-
they would have signed him.
Listen. What they have done by proxy is say, you know what, we'll get it for free. You think it's the reason they haven't tried to get him for free? They're waiting for
No,
getting
but it's illogical now to know that I'm gonna have him for free next summer because he doesn't have any contract with PSG anymore, and now pay 200 million now. There's no sense
If
in that.
Mbappe was available, they don't sign Jude Bellingham. They put all their money inside Mbappe because they don't need Jude Bellingham's position at the moment.
Fantastic.
Listen,
Even though
listen,
you don't know
Yubi,
that,
it's
fantastic.
Real Madrid.
No, but-
They can go.
but-
They can go to Betis. They can go to
They-
Sevilla. They can go to any club and take their striker if they want to. Let's not pretend.
Why even missing the point? The point of this
Which striker?
conversation is that
Which striker?
compared
Which
to last
striker?
season-
Hold on. Now, Stan was making the point, right?
They need a
If-
body. They need a
which-
body.
compared
they
to
bought in
last
Hoselu.
season, they are now short up front.
Go sign
That's
Nesiri,
point of
the
this
Moroccan striker.
conversation.
Wait. They brought in Hoselu.
Right. And that's not enough because 3 attackers have left the club. You've added 1 back.
They brought
Going
Brahim
forward.
Diaz back.
Just
Brahim Diaz is not an attacker. Brahim Diaz is
Relax,
a
relax,
AMC,
relax,
attacking
relax.
midfielder.
Relax.
That's why he
Relax.
played in Milan.
Relax. They brought Brahim Diaz back, right? They brought in they have
Adagula.
Rodrigo, right?
Rodrigo is a
But
right
they
winger.
brought in the kid Gula, right? So what
Gula
see,
is a midfielder.
last season they didn't play a diamond. This season they play a diamond, right?
Right.
Where in the diamond is there space for three attacking players?
And which is why Brahim Diaz is the direct replacement for Jude Bellingham. He's not an option up front. Up
Can I
front,
ask a
they
question?
have
Can I ask a question?
Vinicius,
Now that
Rodrigo,
Vinicius is injured,
and
now that
Joselu.
Vinicius is injured,
That's it.
now that Vinicius is injured, now that Vinicius is injured,
They've had to change system.
are they in a worse situation now that Vinicius is injured than they would have been last season if Vinicius was injured?
Definitely. They're short up
You answer the
front.
question. You
That's
get-
the
I don't see.
that's
I
the
don't.
simple point of this conversation. They are
You
not
see-
up front.
I don't see
If
every
Vinicius was
club-
injured last season,
any team.
they had
Any
more
team.
people to cover.
Any team that loses
Now
Vinicius
they
Junior.
don't.
Who was their direct? Last season, if Vinicius got injured last season, who was their direct replacement?
They have still had Benzema now. They can cover.
They still had Eden
Like,
Hazard.
Benzema
they will-
in the
They
team.
still had
There was
Mariano.
Asensio in the team.
Benzema starts.
Hazard.
with
Asensio.
Vinicius.
No, the point is
Leave-
now you don't have 2 of them if he's injured.
Yeah, there was Benzema, there was Asensio, there was Hazard, Brahim Diaz that wasn't even
Hazard.
playing. was
Mariano.
number 9.
Mariano,
Hazard
even though
wasn't
he's
playing, but it
shit,
doesn't mean they can't bring
he's
him
there.
on. Now you don't even have bodies in like people that actually play in those positions,
I have a problem,
and that's
With
why
people-
they've actually even gone.
I have a problem with people that cry more than the bereaved, right? Because
When people not talk about the clubs, what do you mean people
No,
that cry
no,
more than the British?
no. The point is, Real Madrid have gone. They've set out its transfer strategy, right? We have one top player available now, maybe a year earlier than we thought he would be available for. We had a primary target, which was Mbappe. Because he's not available, we need to sign this top player because he's available now, right? Who was headed to Liverpool. So we sign this player now, right? Now, we don't envisage that Vinicius gets injured. But if he gets injured, we will deal with it, right? Because we've got, young players in and about. Now, will it give us the same impact? Maybe not. But guess what? We're Real Madrid. We've won 4 of the last 6 Champions League. We can afford a season, even 4 seasons or 3 seasons or 2 seasons of maybe not competing at our best level just to rebuild this team. What is so hard to understand there?
I stand by what I said. I think when you compare the
it's
squad,
fine.
when you compare the squads with last season, they are short, they are unbalanced. They've added Bellingham, they've
that is
added
fact.
Bellingham, but they are short up front. And if injuries happen, which they inevitably will, they are going to suffer.
And you know more than anybody that they're building a stadium. Where do you think the
They've-
funds come from to
They've
build that
built
stadium?
no, they've built that already. No.
Is
Anyway,
it finished?
let's talk about Barca. For me, for the fact that
He's
they
a
didn't
fraud.
have any finances I think they've done well as well. You know, adding Cancelo, adding Gundogan, João Felix, whatever you want to say about him. You know, for a club that has no money to, you know, talking about money to spend, Barca has zero. You know, they have to investment into the club to be able to sign players. They've done well. You know, they've done well. They've added, because let's not forget, they got rid of some of the experience as well, right? They've delayed that with Jordi Alba, with Busquets. They finally got rid of them. And I think they were missing a bit of that. They've added Romeo, which obviously he's not the best technical player, but adding some of that experience. Cancelo, again, experience and champion. Gundogan as well in the midfield.
Yeah.
But again, like I said with Real Madrid, they are a couple of players short to be able to compete on all fronts. For me, in defense, you know, they're over-relying on young players. They're over-relying on Araujo, who is not good with fitness. He's already out for, you know, I think 2-3 months he's going to be out. On the left flank, they have Balde, who some people have like as a starter already and this proven player. They forget last season was his debut season in La Liga, you know, in Spanish football.
So Stan, if I hear you correctly, Stan,
yeah,
you believe that every season, every football club in Europe must have
2 players on each position. If you're a serious club and you want to compete for the Champions League and your cup and your league, you have to have 2 decent options on each position.
But Stan, you people said Chelsea were signing too much now. What's going on?
Hold on.
No. Wait. Chelsea. The problem with Chelsea is.
Wait, hold on. That's the
ideal. Personnel. It's the personnel.
So when that doesn't happen, when you don't have 2 players for each position, what do you do? You write to EA Sports La Liga that you want to pull out the tournament.
But if you don't, what is the point of having this conversation? If you can't speak about this club has done good business, but they are short here, they are short there. They're done good business, but they are short there. What's the point of having this conversation then?
I'm not having it, right? Stan is the one saying,
I'm saying, what's the point of this podcast today at all if you're saying that, because you're speaking as if you can't speak on a club being short in this position or that position, because that's clearly what you're saying.
When you speak about the club being short in this position, you have to create the perspective why they are short in that position. Right.
Why they are not. Let
me tell you, the only right back
they are short here, and you're saying, so because they are short there, you write and say you are no longer part of the competition. That's like saying, Baba, why are you talking about that they are short?
So Napoli don't have. Does Napoli have a player as good as Osimhen as second striker?
So Simeone, he's not as good as Osimhen, but he's a decent replacement. Simeone is a decent replacement. He's not the same player, obviously.
So if Osimhen gets injured, does the person come in? Does he fit in like Osimhen does?
Not like Osimhen.
You don't know. You
obviously not.
So when that happens, what do? They write to UEFA and say, you know what, we don't want to pitch anymore.
Why did Arsenal lose the league last season? Because they didn't have cover. They didn't have cover for Saliba. They didn't have cover for Saliba. They didn't have cover for.
I don't like people that have conversations without perspective.
But I know they get your point.
You know if you get a line
players, sometimes they don't have enough in the position. Sometimes they have more than enough. Sometimes they have just enough. And people talk about it. What you're saying, people shouldn't talk about clubs not having enough or being short in a position.
I never said that. I said you speak about it whilst having the perspective of why that is the case. So what is obvious, right? They don't have this. What is obvious, right? You don't have this player. But what is the perspective? Right? You can't say, this player don't have this. They don't have this. What is the mitigating factor behind why they don't have that? For Real Madrid, I just told you that they have a stadium project and they had a player who became available earlier than he would have become available. You understand?
The reason why they don't have this player or why will come in if somebody was blaming them for not having. Like West Ham spoke about Barcelona, for example. He said they've done good business considering that they don't even have money to spend. But I still feel like if you're going to compete on all fronts, they are short here, they are short there, they are short there. That's exactly what he said.
Especially when, guys, let's be honest, Barca this season, everyone's going to judge them on the Champions League because they've done so badly in the last few seasons that they need to raise their PR on Europe. Another level.
Another maybe or maybe not.
No, it's not maybe. It's not maybe. It's a fact.
Point of view, right?
It's a fact,
it's not a fact. I don't think it's not a fact, right, Stan?
They've been out in the group stages. They've been beaten by Bayern Munich.
They won
6 goals.
Season. If you're Barcelona,
they've achieved their Spain objective last season. If you're Barcelona and Xavi wants to go another level and Barca wants to go another level, which they should as champions of La Liga, is a great performance in the Champions League. Go into quarterfinal, semi-final, and establish yourself again as a big European club. Not a European club that loses to Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League when more than half of the stadium was filled with Eintracht Frankfurt fans. And which brings me to another point. Barca is going to suffer, mark my words, is going to suffer this season from the fact they're not playing at the Camp Nou. There's already been problems. They're playing at an Olympic stadium, which we know how the atmosphere is. It's logistically is going to be a mess for season ticket holders, and it's going to affect them more than people think.
Well,
what?
Rufai, you guys are on the same wavelength on this, so connect on that regard.
No, that's all. Listen, I'm just saying what are the issues for me for the Spanish teams. That's all. Look, Atletico, I can tell you, and I've been saying it on the radio as well. For me, Atletico now is the chance for Atletico Madrid this season because we just said the big two are short in some positions. Atletico, I'll tell you 2 positions they are short. Defensive midfield, they only have what's his name now? The Borussia Dortmund, Axel Witsel. He's like 34 now, right? They don't really have another player there. And on the left wing, they lost in the last days of the transfer window. What's his name now? The Belgian winger. He left, right? So they're only left with Samuel Lino, who came back from loan from Valencia last season. Apart from that, they're stacked on each position with 2 players. In defense, up front, they got Memphis, they got Griezmann, they got Morata. For me, this is the season for Atleti to push in the league.
If they like, wait, no push. From your analysis, only Arsenal have the correct. So can we all agree that this season, Arsenal are the only team that have the transfer window done and dusted? Can we agree?
No, I didn't say that. I said that I wasn't happy when Timber got injured and Arsenal didn't dip back into the transfer window and replace him. So for me, the transfer market is 6.5, 7 out of 10. And I'm not saying Arsenal did perfectly in the transfer window at all.
No, Allah. Today's episode, we are proving one thing. Arsenal had the best transfer window.
I didn't say that. You said that.
Champions League. So what's the target for next season? What's the target? Let me hear it now.
Right.
Let's hear it now.
Target is another title challenge, right? In the Premier League.
Another challenge again.
Win your group in the Champions League.
No, Stan.
Target is to win it. Target is to win it.
No.
The goal is to win it. The goal is to win it. The goal is to win it.
See. If you
come on, guys.
The goal,
it's Man City.
To win the Premier League.
Yeah, but it's Man City.
So what's your ambition to challenge or to win?
The ambition is to fight on all fronts now. Because if one thing we can
challenge.
Listen. If one thing I can criticize Arteta is the way he's handled cup runs in his last few seasons. And Arsenal fans have taken it well because they've said, all right, we'll sacrifice this because we see that there's improvement in the league performance. This season, he's going to be judged on his FA Cup performance, on the Champions League performance, and of course on the league. So Arsenal needs to now be competitive on all fronts. There's no more, we're sacrificing this for this. No. If you're a big club, you perform on all fronts. And this is why exactly I've been criticizing a bit Real Madrid and Barca's transfer policy, because you need to have a squad. You need to be competitive.
We're wrapping up now. But if we had time, I'd have told you something that a lot of Arsenal fans don't want to admit. A lot of football fans don't even want to admit, right? Now, a lot of managers, right, hide when the tournaments come around. They hide, right? Because contrary to what people think, it is actually difficult, right, to win one-off games. Because you have to deal with the chance that on that day, right, you can make a correction to a mistake that your team has made. Or you can make a correction to a loss of form, or you can make a correction to a bad choice that you made tactically or a squad selection, right? So it is. I will speak about it on another day. That whilst you might think it is sacrificing this for this, it's actually not. It's more down to the manager not being at the level to do all at the same time. But
which is why he needs to prove himself.
Story for another day, right?
Right.
So what you're saying effectively is that Arsenal's ambition this year, right, after winning the title by beating United, is not to win the title, but to challenge for the title. So basically, last season at the same thing.
UB, I want to say my goal is to have a Ferrari by the end of the year. But at the end of the day, you need to be realistic. Man City's won 4 of the last 5 leagues in the Premier League for a reason.
What did be man you target for? What did be man you go for this season?
Mine is going to be in top 4. Being in top 4, qualify for the group stage Champions. Being in top 4, making back Champions League.
Okay.
Yeah. Being in top 4, making back Champions League.
Carling Cup.
If you win it, good.
Champions League.
Yeah. Being in top 4.
No, you can't win Champions League. United cannot win Champions League.
You said be in the top 4, make the top 4, and do well in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a realistic.
No, that's the goal. That's the goal. They can't win it, or can they win it? No.
Anything can happen now. You can do a Chelsea 2012. What are you talking about?
They can't win it. So
somehow we didn't talk about Chelsea today.
They can't win the Champions League.
No, Chelsea's goal is to not relegate.
Chelsea's
goal is to avoid relegation, is to stay up.
I saw a meme where Chelsea and United were tying the same cloth like this. They tied it here. I saw that meme. Yeah. Chelsea fans are happy with that. That's how the match have fallen. Chelsea fans say, we get who. You get. So Chelsea also United as their walking stick this season. But soon that walking stick will break. So my one is, what do you do when the walking stick breaks? I
don't think
we will leave them behind.
The goal is to avoid relegation. Is to avoid the drop. That's the goal.
No, Chelsea's goal this season is to avoid being alone in the misery. So anybody where they see say, if I say the person they struggle, we did here. That's Chelsea's goal.
If you finish 12th last season, then it's only realistic to say, let's make sure we don't relegate this season.
Fair. No wahala. No wahala. So
guys, can we just give credit? Can I just mention? Can we give credit to one of the last few footballers that showed that football is still more important than money? Señor Sergio Ramos. Sergio Ramos. Come on.
That story I saw on Daily Mail. That thing.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. If he say
no, it's a fact.
No, Daily Mail first write down. Yes, we just write down later. Maybe nobody like say you come your website, you don't see the story.
What if you prioritize his family now? It can't be just money. The family too might want to just go back to Spain.
Oh, for sure.
See, it concerns anybody. If it makes you sleep better at night, right? That a football player, right, makes a choice for his career and his life, right? If you make you sleep better at night, and you think that, the player is about money, then so be it, right? I think that Ramos has made enough money in his career, right? To say, you know what? I can decide to do this or not, right? Look at the profile of players that have turned down the Saudi gig. Look at the profile of players that have gone there. You will see, like, look, Ronaldo is Ronaldo. You get, he has gone there because he's on the other side of his career, right? Ramos has turned it down, not necessarily because football is more important, but because at this point in time, it could be other factors. It could be family. It could be because he always wanted to play back at his boyhood club once more before he retired. And who says that in September next year, he's not off to Saudi? So
No.
the point is that we are too quick to want to put people into this is this and this is that. Let the players that want to go to Saudi.
No, I'm not
Those Saudi
criticizing
people-
the players that did go.
Those Saudi people
I'm not
deserve to
criticizing.
have superstars in their country. They deserve that too.
No, of course. I just think it should be commended, especially in the current market and especially after the window we've just had. That a player had an offer on the table but decided to rather go with a more, football, family, whatever decision it is. And especially in Spain, it's great that this happened because it's an antidote to the Gabri Veiga. Gabri Veiga, 21-year-old.
No,
with his debut season in La Liga, goes to Saudi. And okay, you can say it's his decision. It's his decision. He makes right, but it's good. It's good for football.
Do you know the reason
for Spanish football?
No.
Do you know the reason why?
No.
No, it's good for Spanish football.
No.
You know why?
Do you know the reason why he started to say, you know what, I want to be a pro player? Do you know it was about money?
Stan,
listen, I have no problem.
You know why he can't be an antidote to Veiga?
I can tell you,
Why
right?
he can't be an antidote to Veiga?
I can tell you now, there are a lot of Nigerian kids, right, that their parents are investing in them. To be athletes is about the money. Now, 15 years down the line, or 10 years down the line, when those kids make choices that make their parents proud, some people will come and say, this guy is, but you weren't there when he started.
No, but
I can
even
tell you.
aside that, why Sergio Ramos' move cannot be an antidote to Veiga moving? It's unfair to compare both. Sergio Ramos has been in the game for a long time. He has made a lot of money. Right? You can't, Gabri Veiga, and I'm not trying to beat down on the boy, but we don't know the level of his talent. He's not Kylian Mbappe. He's not Rivaldo. He's not, you don't know where he's going to go. You don't know how much or which big club he's going to be able to play for, right? So if he has decided now to go and take some money, so you don't know if Sergio Ramos would have made the same decision when he was 17 at Sevilla and this same opportunity comes around. You don't know that. But now he has made money. He has enough room to be able to say, I just want to relax with my family. He has enough room to be able to make that decision, right?
It is
at
always
this point
easier. It is always easier for a big man to turn down a job than for a small man to turn down a job. It's always easier.
Listen. Antidote was probably the wrong word. Let's say a balance in terms of when come on, guys. It's football. We all love stories when
Why
a player a player goes back.
Ramos go to the PSG? If I may ask,
he played like 30 games last season. He's still a competitive player.
What was the plan to go to PSG? What was he doing there?
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. He wanted a top up. He wanted a top up on his contract. No, he wanted a top up on his contract. Real Madrid said, "Listen." Real Madrid said, "Listen, we're gonna offer you an additional year on the same salary." And that's another question about Ramos because his agent is actually his brother, and the surrounding is a little bit toxic around him. But basically, Real Madrid said, "Listen, we're gonna give you an additional year. We don't care what you want. We're gonna give you this much, the same amount of money." And he left for to get a top up at PSG. But I'm just saying the point is, it's good for balance for young kids that there's a story like that. Because it's part of football. A bit of romantic.
I think we can work with that. We can work with that.
We can work with that. What we can do is work with the word balance, right? Because it allows two ends to exist. What we cannot work with, right, is to say this is the right way to do it. That's what we cannot work. We're African, Stan.
No, listen. I'm going to Saudi tomorrow if they come in. I'm not saying it, like that. I'm
going to Saudi now if they call me, right? Because in the end, right, we see poverty all the time. We see poverty every day. Do you understand? And I know how much it will mean to my community if I earned even 100K a week. I'm not talking about 600 now. 100K a week, just for 1 year, right? I will build all the see. If I show you my street, I will build houses from the beginning of the street to the end 4 times, right? We'll build it around to be like a small palm island, right? So people come from different places,
guys.
So when the English media sit and write on their high horse, right? You don't expect Jadon Sancho to have the same level of motivation that the kid, some kid in Africa has. Do you understand? Because look at Kai Havertz, for example, they say someone if I say that his parents are rich.
Who talks? So when I tell you this thing, I beg.
Say his parents are rich. So maybe that's why.
And by the way, when I tell you this thing, by
the way, in all of this, right? In all this Arsenal gloating, you somehow left Kai Havertz out of it.
No. You need to rewind 2 hours ago. You need to rewind the tape.
When you went off,
when Wally makes the edit, you're gonna see what I said.
Yeah, you went in on Kai Havertz and Arteta actually for being.
Shake.
I've been balanced. I've been balanced about my team. You haven't. That's the truth.
Fantastic.
No, all Gunners.
Ending notes.
All Gunners for life. Title secured. Cheers.
Tears. Here. Fill my cup with tears.
All right, man.
Right here.
Peace out, man. All right, man. It's all love, man. Cheers. See you guys later.
You are the king of banter now.
I'm the monster you guys created.